Oh, I guess I should like push a button or something, right? Normally there's music that comes right here. Don't worry, we didn't forget.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Why does that volume go down? We should turn that up, right? Nah, it's programmed to go down. It's programmed to go down so that the cool retro synth music doesn't cover our wonderful intro to the Boiler Room. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for tonight's episode of Boiler Room. My goodness, Social Rejects Club meets once again for this September 4th of 2025 live broadcast on Alternate Current Radio, and we're also streaming live on X. What's up, X? Anybody out there on X? Throw us a message in the chat. I need to hear from you on X. If you're watching, you'll actually help me produce the show just a little bit if you're on X and you throw us a comment, because we've been kind of tracking this little glitch with the X comments. So if you're out there, tell us hi, share the stream. We'd appreciate that. We are live on X. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how to describe the X experience at this point. It's we're in a post Jack Dorsey Twitter 1.0 era. Matt Taibbi and a few others out there. All right, there's Ruckus posting hi on X. All right, there we go. Now let's see if these messages get stuck down here on the bottom of our internal chat here on StreamYard. I'm a bug fixer. I'm sorry. I have a master's degree in IT management, and if I see bugs, I like to send them off to the people that can fix them. So forgive me for nerding out there. Ruckus, thanks for helping me nerd out. And if you are also on X, go ahead and leave us a comment over there. We'd love to hear from you. We're also broadcasting on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Let me talk to YouTube for a second. Hey, there's some of our friends over in the Discord too. Wonderful. Lovely to see our friends in the Discord. That is actually the clubbiest of the club places to hang with the Social Rejects Club, in the Discord, but that's okay. Don't worry. You can hang at X. You can hang at YouTube. You can hang at Rumble. What's up, Rumble? We got our Rumble folks here with us tonight also. But as far as YouTube goes, let me talk to the manual reviewer or the, I don't know, illustrious AI that reviews the shows and just ask you a question. So when I'm getting ready to do a boiler room, I have a green cup tonight. Isn't that neat? Woohoo! Look at that. You can see the background right through my cup. Yeah, so no guesses as to what color my drink is tonight, right? It's Constitution burning clown show color cup. How about that? Anyways, YouTube, I don't know how to proceed. Maybe you can help me. Manual reviewer at YouTube, send me an email. Hesher at alternatecurrentradio.com. Okay. I'm just curious. If I see media, I'm trying to do my best for you, YouTube. I really am. We are here. We're trying to keep it real. We're trying to bring content and analyze content from multiple social media platforms and mainstream media platforms, right? A little bit of, public domain analysis. Is that not the foundation of freedom of speech and media, right? A media organization that is independent and analyzing the media that all of us are fed. I mean, give me the problem with that, right? It sounds good. It sounds above board. It sounds right in the sweet spot. But in Elon Musk's Twitter 2.0, in a post Twitter files era, what am I supposed to do when I'm analyzing information from Mark Zuckerberg's products, from Elon Musk's products, from whoever the hell owns Reddit's products, from the mainstream media's products, right? Like I've got all these, like I've got all these inbound feeds and they come faster and faster and heavier every week. And I'm like, okay, that's what we do here. That's the fucking bread and butter of the boiler room. What's up, Eileen? What's up to Jason? What's up, John? What's up, Adam? What's up, everybody? What's up, Randy J? What's up, Sage? What's up, everybody in the chats? If you're not in our chats, you're missing out. That's where all the cool people are hanging out. What's up, Fleety? What's up, Mad Mink? What's up, Creative Accidents? What's up, Brian S? I don't know if that's everybody, but hey, some shout outs. Anyway, back to YouTube. YouTube reviewer. What am I to do when I see things come through my media feed on X that I watch and I say, oh my God, this person is saying things that we said a decade ago and got canceled for. But I go to other YouTube channels and I see people talking about the same thing. Am I allowed to re-air some of that here on the YouTubes? I'm just curious. Even if it's naughty and I disagree or agree with it or find some gray zone in it, do I play it here on YouTube? Or do I say, oh, wait, the YouTube reviewers are confusing me? I see big accounts able to talk about this stuff. I see big accounts analyzing stuff from X that is not on YouTube. Does that mean it's not allowed on YouTube? Does that mean you can analyze stuff from X on YouTube, but if you're one of those people that's saying the stuff on X that's not on YouTube, you're only allowed to be analyzed by other channels? This is just getting too confusing for a content creator. So, how to proceed? I'd love to get an email from YouTube. Maybe it's because I haven't pushed the monetize this channel button. We are eligible for a monetize button push over here. We do get just enough viewers magically to do that, but I haven't pushed it. I don't feel welcomed into the family of YouTubers that eventually get the plaque that they put on their wall. And I'm at a point with a lot of this stuff 10 years in where it's like, I don't need to analyze that. I can just show that and let everybody out there, our audience out there, have their own analysis. Because I trust this audience to know to understand the context of 2025 and to know that, hey, when someone comes to you and says, I don't know what to do with current events, where do I go for the truth? That the answer is the one that they don't want to hear. Sorry, you have to break off a lot of time and you have to go listen to everything, read everything, watch everything, and make up your own fucking mind. That's all we're encouraging you to do, and that's all I want to do with some of the X clips that I would like to play. But what is a media analyst to do with the schism between YouTube and X? Rumble, I don't understand you. I think you're cool, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see in the long run. Anyways, it's great to be here with you. It is September the 4th of 2025, and I don't need to tell you, we find ourselves in very strange times, and I've got the team gathered tonight to chop it up, see what's going on since our last boiler room. I'm going to bring Mystical Pharaoh on first. He is joining us here today. Mystical Pharaoh, what's up, man? Principles fold fast, don't they?
Yeah, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight, man. I know it's a little late and all that, and you got to work tomorrow, but I really appreciate you joining us for a bit tonight.
Absolutely. I was able to wake back up and I feel much better and I'm ready to go.
All right, cool. What do you think about my request to YouTube? I mean, it's an honest request. It's an honest question. I quite literally have 3 or 4 clips tonight that I have gathered from x.com posters, some of which are critical of even the owner of the platform. And I'm not sure if, they're welcome on one of our 3 streaming platforms. Isn't that a bizarre situation?
Honestly, I walked in the middle of the rant. Uh, so is YouTube banning posting videos from X?
No, I'm simply a user here at YouTube who is looking at their terms and conditions and
Yeah.
honestly wondering, like, if I repost this thing, like, let's just say it's a video that I saw on X, am I the person that's breaking YouTube's terms and services? Like, if something, if a reviewer were to look at it and go, "Hey, that's mean speak," and I'm just the guy sitting here going, "Well, I'm just watching the mean speak on another social media platform. Like, how am I to proceed?"
Yeah. I have no idea. Did you try asking Grok?
Well, okay, I tell you what, we ask Grok, and then we ask Copilot, and then we ask Gemini, and see if their answers agree. That's
Match. Here you go.
they're all our
Yeah.
biggest cheerleaders. Ruckus was over the other night here at the ACR studio, and we were watching some of that. We actually got Ruckus to watch modern television, which is a
Oh,
feat
wow.
of nature. But we were watching the first 3 episodes of the new South Park season, and I could ask YouTube the same question, like, are the things that Matt Parker and Trey Stone putting out available to be talked about on YouTube, or it's
Yeah. No, it's a valid point, and I honestly I don't know if they intentionally put it this way that it can be more subjective to be targeted. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe.
That therein lies the rub, my friend. The fact that it all appears to us content creators as subjective when it shouldn't. It's like you read that's why I ask the questions. That's why I'm belaboring this a little bit. It's like you read their terms and services, and it's like, oh wait, I saw a dozen things on X today that look like they would break YouTube's terms and services. And I'm a person. We are a show that is doing its best to have a wide reach and go to multiple platforms. We are multi live streaming right now, and that's cool technology. But I don't want to burn one of my terms of services. But it's like they're making it very difficult for me to figure out what's okay and what's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really it's hard, man. That's why and the issue is there is no one platform that has everybody on it, right? So it's your viewer is distributed.
Right.
And it is something that all content creators will face. Um, I guess some people just give up and they just go to one platform. But
Right.
uh,
There are people with like platform loyalty. Like, for a lot of people, YouTube is the thing. And we have abandoned YouTube for extended periods of time here in the boiler room. And Pharaoh, like, you're one of the voices of reason for me here at Alternate Current Radio. You're one of the people that says, you know what, if we can't say what we're thinking there, let's not go there, And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what? You're right. I got to stick to our principles. And we stopped broadcasting here for almost 2 years. And now we're back, and we're glad to be back. We still appear to be under some shadow banning. If I go on other channels, I get 2,000 views. On my own channel, I get 200 views. And that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with we don't yet have, I would say, what like a big viewer yet on one platform that we cannot afford being on one platform.
Yeah.
However, as you said, we have survived during the worst clampdown time, which is the COVID time, right? And we made it. So I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
The
too,
fact, the,
man.
fa- the fact that we have, I mean, the last we had some spicy episode like the last few weeks. The fact that we have not got banned yet on YouTube, that tell me something.
Yeah. Something has changed, and we know we were paying attention. We saw when something changed, and that's when we came back to YouTube. And we're here for it, but
Yeah.
we don't want to be summarily kicked out, or we'd like to have our if there's any shadow banning. Hello, YouTube reviewer, once again. If there's any shadow banning going on these accounts, I'd like you to compare these accounts transcripts to, I don't know, some of the accounts that are maybe analyzing Nick Fuentes videos recently, and just let us know why some of those videos are going mega viral, and we just don't have. Maybe we're just not that good. You could tell us. I'll take the criticism. You say, yeah, you're just not that good.
I think what we need is we need to train multiple agent person with different personalities, and we can just talk whatever we say, right, in our mainstream, and then we can YouTubeify it, we can Xify it, right? The agent Xify it for us, and just post it. I guess that's where we're heading.
Yeah. I mean, I actually really appreciate that you would say that, because it's like we could do that. And it's like a simple, excuse me, a simple email from the various platforms that we use would really help us hone that. Like if YouTube was to like send me an email and say, hey, last week's episode was great, but from 143.27 to 158.27, you guys are bumping up against the edge of the guardrail here. I would be happy to say, okay, fine, we'll take that episode down. We'll use our AI agent to pull out 3 of the least spicy clips, and we'll post them on your platform as shorts. Like, how does that sound? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of collaborating that could be done. And I'm at this point, 10 years into this, I'm willing to do that. Our audio platforms allow us to say whatever we want for the most part, and so does Rumble, and so does X, even though we're so critical of Musk. So it's like, if the rules were clear, we could figure out how to follow them, and that's why I'm belaboring this.
And maybe we should, that's a new business idea. Maybe we can create a new platform that just stream to all those platforms, right? Where you can subscribe to it as a creator, and it take care of like YouTubeifying your videos for you, and make sure you're not getting banned.
There, a banhammer caught me. Oh no, Hesh used a naughty word again. Yeah. I'm sorry. But at least, if we could just have transparency about this, my goodness, life would be so much easier. Let me bring in Bazelit Analyzer next. Baze, I'm sure, has some thoughts about this. He's been building up his YouTube channel for a while, and he's been kindly enough to put his name and face and channel up next to Alternate Current Radio. Brave enough. So Baze, what do you think, man? I mean, I'm just asking for some transparency here. I think that like some back and forth between the platforms and the people, the creators that use the platforms, would be like good for the goose and the gander. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You want some back and forth between the Skynet megalords of Gargantua.
All right, I take it back. I'm going back in my hole.
I think that I don't know. I don't know, man. I think there is so much volume with this stuff that, I'm only on YouTube, and I've been, I'm not sure. I know that one sort of metric. That's the word that they always use. That's the word Obama used to use. What's the metric?
We need some metrics to go
Well,
with that.
yeah. You didn't build that. You didn't build that. The metric that I use is that when I got monetized, I turned on ads for the first time because I got them. I don't have ads on because I don't have ads on because I don't like watching them anyway. I don't want them on there. So and I have a small enough audience where it's pointless to have them anyway. And why put people through ads when there's not any revenue anyway through ads? But when I first put it on, I got the yellow warning for violating all of the terms of advertising. And so I turned, and that was the one video, and that was like when I had a few hundred people, maybe, or maybe I had however it was right after you get monetized, whatever the terms are, whatever you need 1,000 subs or something like that. I don't know. But it was like smoking on camera, strong language. The problem with my stuff is that there's not really. First of all, I just do literature and film, so it kind of avoids all of the current events, all of the spicy news and all that stuff. But the problem is that when you were going over books, I remember the problem was that I did A Clockwork Orange, and in talking about A Clockwork Orange, a lot of these things come up, and especially a lot of the words that ding this stuff, especially things like ultraviolence. So when you discuss, the algorithm, I guess, doesn't know the difference between the analysis of a work of literature, or at least it didn't back then, and whatever you're talking about in terms of current events. So they just don't like the terms at all. So that was so I turned off the ads for that. That's about as far as I know. I mean, other than that, there's just so much volume. There's so much content that, I guess the bots can't decipher those sorts of things. But hey, while I'm here, can I do a shameless self plug? Because right now, first of all, I published my book. My book is now published. It's been up for 2 days. My book is called Runes. It's a book of verse. These are personae poems on megalomania in the Third Reich, Imperial Rome, and Troubles era in Northern Ireland. You can find this on Amazon. And I am number 3 in Irish and British poetry. So I'm in illustrious company behind Shakespeare, John Milton, and Seamus Heaney. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good for the first 2 days launch. So thank you to everybody who's already bought the book. A lot of people have already bought it. So you can buy it. The links are on my YouTube page in the video description, or in the channel description. They're up there on the community tab. They're on my Instagram. You go to my Instagram, Baselit Analyzer. So please buy my book. This might be the only book of poetry that some people ever own, and strong language. Take it, know that going into it. But I worked on this for, I've had this for about 20 years, and worked on. That's been kind of dark on YouTube for the past month, working on it really nonstop, formatting and getting everything right. So yeah, please go to Amazon and buy my book, Runes. There you go. That's it right there. So
all right, I congratulations. We've been looking forward to this and kind of knew it was coming soon, and glad that we can announce it now. When you sent me the link, when it became available, my inclination was to immediately buy a copy, but I withheld for a moment because I thought to myself, I need a signed copy of this to sit next to Jay Dyer's Esoteric Hollywood. How can people get signed copies?
Well, I don't have signed copies because I don't have a website. I mean, I started a YouTube, and the YouTube did it's done very, like, surprisingly well. I was lucky to have one person watching me talk about literature and film, and it's done surprisingly well. I never had a website, and then I published the book. So I got to get a website so I can do signed copies. All I have now are, I'll send you an author's copy, a signed author's copy. So I can get that. And I'll
tell you what. I'm going to buy 2 copies from Amazon, and if you send me one that's signed, then I'll have one to give away, and one that's stock and one that's signed.
Will do, man. So
all right,
appreciate
excellent.
It. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about that. By the way, Fleety makes a good comment in the Discord chat. He says BT Dub WTF is up with the thousands of music and everything else reaction channels on YouTube. I know. I've had the same question myself because as longtime Boiler Room listeners and viewers know, we had to delete our entire first like 7 years of our archive because we had a lot of fun with music on the show, and we would do like television theme songs as we would introduce people. Randy J is going to join us tonight. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. We would pull Shaolin monk samples for Randy J. I used to make elaborate audio introductions as though we were the WWE or something like that for a lot of the guests as they would come in. So we have like all of our first 7 or so years of podcasts have like music running in the background in certain points where it's questionable whether it's copywritten or not. And it's so bizarre to me that like I've had to pull down because they threatened us with losing our entire account at Spreaker if we had anything like that up there. So I pulled down thousands of hours of stuff that took tens of thousands of hours to create and produce and post. And you know, and there's all these features built into the reaction channels, the TikTok channels. Like you can put, you know, copywritten music on your TikTok dance video, but I'm gonna lose 10 years of work if I have one like moment of an Opeth song or something like that on there. It's again, it just, you know, I don't mean to be like poor me. I'm not trying to do a poor me thing here, but it's like, what are the fucking rules, guys?
Yeah, the music and film thing is pretty crazy because I think that if there was one great thing that we could do on this stuff, it would be to play the music that we want to play.
Yeah.
And the copyright rules have gotten you know, they get increasingly worse every year. That you always hear horror stories of like people the legend was that like if you play 2 seconds of a Beatles song, your channel gets taken down. And
And it
you
became
know,
10 seconds, then it became 30 seconds, then it was like,
right.
you don't actually know, just maybe don't do it.
And so YouTube has a function now where you can buy rights to a song to play in a video and it won't ding the copyright because it's through YouTube, but you still can't do it on a live stream. It's only on a video. And so I think that TikTok and Instagram, you know, the thing is that it's tied in somehow through Spotify and Apple Music, and they have an agreement with them. And so then you load it through the search function on there into the video. But when you're just playing your own music, you're pretty much guaranteed. It's like when I would do movie analysis with my friend David Patrick Harry, he would show clips of we started off showing clips of movies, and even that I was like, we got to be careful here because it's the music that's going to get us dinged. And they would take down the video in the middle of it, and they would just give us a warning. We would have to reload the thing, but it's usually the music bot, the you know, detector that really does that. And Warner Brothers and certain groups are very strict about that. So even when what we do now is the last time we did analysis is he'll show the movie and he'll pause it and fast forward through the movie in pause sections is the best we can do. Rob Ager has a great example. Rob and Jay. I mean, you can't, both of them, you know, cannot, and Jay doesn't really do it anymore, but when he did videos showing movie clips, he would get dinged for this, even showing them backwards and mirrored. So I think at some point you just kind of, there's nothing you can do about it. And he just does analysis. Rob Ager also has the same thing where he can, even when it's through Creative Commons or through, you know, when it doesn't violate the terms that they put up, you still get dinged for it. And so the video will get taken down. So you just gotta, you know, I hope that I think they'll fix that at some point in the future. They've got to have some sort of special function or an offshoot channel for those sorts of things with a smaller volume, smaller viewership. They've got to, because that is like a significant portion of YouTube. And it started off doing that. And then because it's the major mega global platform, you can't do it because all the corporations are tied into it. So,
right. Like the concept of fair use is, you see the fair use concept leaned on heavily on some big channels And it's like, you as a viewer slash creator, you watch it and you're like, okay, they seem to have gotten right up against the edge of the gray zone there with terms and conditions, and they're doing it. They're pulling it off. They're playing like pick a song. They're playing Slayer Rain. Is two rappers watching Slayer Rain in Blood for the first time. I've heard it 10 billion times. This is the first time homies have heard it. Let's see what they say. And they sit there and boom, hit play for 30 seconds and then talk about it, play for 30 seconds and then talk about it. And me, it's like I have, what I like to think at least is some fairly intellectual content that has some musical interludes and stuff, where we try to give shout outs at all points and links and all that, done everything we possibly can to say, hey, we don't own this. It's for entertainment purposes or analysis purposes. And it's like you said, you do something, it's right there on the terms and conditions. But if you're not super popular, if you don't have a huge following, you may get dinged for it, whereas someone else is, able to just skate on through.
Well, the popular thing is the listening videos, and reaction videos are huge. And I don't even know how they get past it. I guess they have some sort of agreement with YouTube. There are a lot of people who have contracts. And so this is how they get around it, or they are promoted. But even if you get permission from the artist, in a lot of cases, if you manage to get permission from an artist who's a semi, big artist, it doesn't mean it won't still get dinged by the publicist or by whoever owns the rights or the masters or just the company itself. So I use music from one of my friends who makes jungle drum and bass music, a guy named Rooks G. Everybody should check him out. Rooks G, ROXG. Check out his channel. He makes some amazing music. He's really doing well. And so we became friends, and he lets me use his music. Thankfully, thank you to him for letting me use his dope music. But if you've got anybody who's on any kind of label, the label starts to control it. And anybody who's big at all, or like, good luck getting some sort of musician who makes albums that get played radio time or whatever it is now. You'll just never, it can't happen. So,
well, you
remember how long it took, even in this is kind of mirrored in films. You remember that the first movie to use a Led Zeppelin track was School of Rock with Jack Black. Jack Black wrote to Led Zeppelin specifically to get rights so he could use Immigrant Song in the movie. But even that, I mean, that movie is like 2005 or 6, about around 2005. And even that, a lot of movies aren't able to use this stuff, and they have to pay a pretty heavy sum up front. So there's this dichotomy between trying to protect artists and the integrity of their music and not letting it get out there, but also letting their music get out there so people can hear it. And they've really gone pretty far with trying to kind of close down music, because I mentioned a few streams ago that Spotify book that came out about the origins of Spotify, the military industrial complex origins of Spotify, which is crazy, but that's apparently a thing. And it really is. A lot of artists are talking about how it's crushing them and crushing any kind of sales that they would have, even though it seems like it's protecting them. So, but everybody, I'm sure here already knows that.
Yeah. Well, I was, I'm going to bring Ruckus up next and start bringing everybody in. But I was talking with my dad, shout out to my dad, just the other day about Spotify, and why, I personally consider myself like a low to intermediate level audiophile. Like, I'm into things like speakers and headphone amplifiers and ways to capture and replay music that are of the most accurate, presentation you could possibly find. And it's like, I'm someone that has that said no thank you to satellite radio, no thank you to Pandora, no thank you to all these different things, and have always leaned into having my own physical and physically locally located digital collection of audio music. I've been working on it since I was a teenager. I'm 50 now. I'm 50.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know that most people get that sort of mindset or not, but it's important to a lot of us. And Spotify is the first technology that has come along that has satisfied someone like me, where it's like, okay, you're algorithm or whatever this is enough to keep me engaged with this application and actually consider it as an alternative to my physical slash local music collection.
Yeah, Banhammer in the comments says Spotify is DARPA Tech question mark. That's what the book implies. That you'd have to read the book on Spotify that just came out about that. It implies that that's the origin. I don't know. But as with all big tech things, this sort of thing plays into it. And remember, Hesher, that what you're talking about was very useful. It was especially useful for one day, which was in 2020. Remember the black box and Apple Music and Spotify and everybody shut down. You couldn't buy music, you couldn't listen to it, even though it was a paid subscription, because of the protests and the riots going on. I thought that would continue or be more, and I'm sure that's gonna happen again. But at the very least, I don't really pay attention to music algorithms. I get music from. I have a friend who writes for Pitchfork and Under the Radar. I've always gotten music from him. I get music from people like Nick Rochefort's Instagram. I get music from him. I get music from reading about music and from places that I already know to go. But see, that's one of the things that's been killed through Spotify and through Apple Music in terms of the search capability for especially younger people. When you have everything at your fingertips, and we didn't know this until the 21st century. When you have everything at your fingertips, knowledge and the information superhighway, what it actually ended up doing was killing choice and killing a search thing, which sort of in an esoteric sense, like sort of pulls the joy out of looking for music and rifling through CDs like people like us did. And I think it's important to have physical media. I've got a gigantic music library here, just same as you do. And I think that those things are important, is because, we live with the internet, and it is a fact of life, and it's not going away until it does. But I think it's important still to share with people in real life and listen to music. Like the best place to listen to music is in your car. That I've got a friend who did A&R for EMI, and he told me that when they sign a new artist and when they're about to go into production, actually produce the song, and then when they make it and they're about to put it up for sale, the last thing that they do is they go into the boardroom, and the guy comes in and they listen to music on all different types of speakers, and then they take it into the car and they listen to it on shitty car, like broken car speakers, to see how it sounds. And if it doesn't match up, if it doesn't work, then they have to go change the audio and change the levels again just for that. So I think a lot goes into the production of that sort of stuff, and it's important to keep that in mind when we're purchasing it, I guess.
Yeah, dude, that exact thing right there is what Dimebag Darrell and Phil Anselmo and Vinnie Paul and Rex Brown from Pantera did when they were producing The Great Southern Trendkill, when they were producing Far Beyond Driven, when they were doing the second album. I think Colin Richardson did the first at least 3 or 4 albums. And that's exactly what they would do. They would take it out to Dimebag's truck, and they would, crank it up, and it had a freaking, EQ box in there, and a VU meter box in there. And they would tweak the bass, the treble, and the mids, and they would see what it would do with, 3 6x9s, two 6 inches, and 2 12-inch subwoofers.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it sounds right there, that's where people are going to be listening to it.
That's right. Now I'm sure they do that on earbuds.
Yeah. Fuck that. Fuck that, man.
Yeah.
Who cares what earbuds sound like? Yeah. I care what, some Emotiva speakers with like 2 mono block amplifiers and a class A or class D chi-fi amplifiers would sound like. That's what I'm interested in, but I'm a fucking nerd about it. Let me bring Ruckus in, man. This was really fun, you guys. Pharaoh and Bazelit. Ruckus, what's up, man? Welcome to the Boiler Room. Any commentary on what we've said so far? And by the way, Bazed, Ruckus and I are going to make sure that there is a website that you can use to advertise signed copies of your book, new episodes of your podcast, and all that stuff. We're going to have that up at Alternate Current Radio real soon.
Thanks, you guys.
Oh yeah, we could just do that on the website, huh?
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, that would be easy. All this music nostalgia, I'm just like, y'all are tripping. Nothing hit quite the same as those good old hit clips back in the day. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
I'm just those things are crap. I'm just totally kidding. Um, wow, fascinating discussion. Looks like you guys have been going for a little while now. I feel like the show's halfway done, but you may notice what it says by my name here. It says that I'm a digital creator. I don't know if you noticed this, but if you go to Facebook and you start scrolling through and seeing your friends, who are just your friends, just they're in your family and their profiles, you'll notice quite a number of them say that they're a digital creator. Have you guys noticed that
Oh yeah.
phenomenon? Okay. At first, I thought, well, that's kind of weird. In fact, I honestly thought people were purposely putting that there. Apparently, that's the default category that Facebook now gives you as a person. They now treat people like they used to treat pages. In fact, you even get now what was only usually available to people who owned a page, like a business profile page. You get a professional dashboard now. They really are encouraging everybody on social media to be a creator, to be a TikTok nurse dancing around during the next you know what, I guess. Like this is where it's all about. I mean, and if you look at some of the hot trends right now in YouTube videos and Google search trends and everything like that, whether or not it's being injected or created, there is a lot of discussion about people becoming creators now, and we see politicians who become podcasters. This is something we've been discussing across the past few months at least now, right, Hesher? And you've got your Michelle Obamas, you got your Gavin Newsoms, and then
You got
we're
your vice
witnessing.
versas too, right? You got your Cash
Yep,
Patels, you got your Dan Bonginos that go from
exactly.
podcaster to politician.
Yes, and then I was going to say, and then you have the cross contamination between that and politics, and I'm just like, and then now the emergence of AI, and everything, and I'm just like, and what is Elon Musk always posting on his X? So why do people go to Twitter or to a social media? I'm just presuming that most people around the world don't go. I'm like, I need to go on post and post something to my followers to because I'm a digital creator. No, they just go to they interact with it and then do the thing and share and like and joke and troll in the comments and do whatever, right? But every time they're there, they're make it through maybe 3 of their tweets and then or whatever they're called. And now there's a post from X saying, try this, use Grok, use Imagine, turn your photos into a masterpiece of digital creation. It's all, again, the same thing. They're trying to corral everybody around the world to do what we have been doing this whole damn time. And it's absolutely fascinating, bizarre, frightening. It's almost like, should we quit doing what we're doing now? Is it time to leave the world behind, guys? It's like,
Have
'cause
we
I do
outlived our
this.
shelf life?
I do this sometimes. I'll be on a fad before it's a fad, and once it gets popular, I'm like, well, screw that shit. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's too
Or you get
popular. I want to be
canceled for
cool.
being in on
Yeah.
it, and then 10 years later, everybody's got all the big names getting rich on it.
And then tell me it's not by accident that we were getting the short end of the stick, and now it's just going to be some random dude that's just like, oh yeah, this guy gets 1 million followers, and he talks about the same crap we do, but he knows absolutely nothing about it, has no history, and then oh wow, I guess we're seeing that happen already with some of these
And
names
talks
right
about
now.
it like a total like racist brute, and just like all that stuff just proves a lot of the points of the old guard, and turns off a lot of the current guard. Like, yeah, it's a mess. All right, Ruckus, thanks, man.
And who or what is producing this content for the most part for all these people who are just getting into it, who probably have no experience and are far too busy to learn how to do it. Oh, that's right. They're relying heavily on ChatGPT and other
AI.
things like that. So
Yep. Right. Right.
where does the originality is anything that all of the slop, everything that we're going to start seeing produced as content? How much of that is really coming from human creators, or how much of that is just like an extension repeat of the same old garbage coming from ChatGPT?
Probably the next stage, sorry, is actually integrating that AI into the post itself, right? On Facebook, similar to a Grok. Because at the end, the reason why they are doing all this, because they want the data, right? So they will try to use this as data collection platform, pretty much.
Damn right, dude. Like, watch this. This is how easy it is for person on X who may not be allowed to be on YouTube. Hey, ChatGPTs, Uh, write me something really spicy, slightly racist. No, 75% racist that will inflame the audience and sounds very patriotic and base it on the first 10 years of the Boiler Room. Hey, let me tell that's a great idea. Let me tell you how to do that. Boom. It's that easy. That's all it takes. There, I just gave you the unlock code. You just got God mode Boiler Room insight right there. The whole thing has been sucked up by these machines. It's that easy for me. It's that easy for you. Let me bring in Randy J because I know we've burned so much time now that Randy J is going to have to go soon. Randy J, a lot has been covered before I even got to Icebreaker tonight, but I wanted to bring you in. I know, I'm sorry that the intro has taken so long tonight, but I want to know what you think about what's been said so far.
Yeah, it's funny because we were sort of already on this um, uh, theme or topic before the show even went on. I'm just, as I'm listening to all this, I'm thinking like, you know, we're all caught up in it. It's like we're all surfing on this tsunami, technocratic tsunami that's just it's happening. There's your food, you got to eat it. Like I mean, or you could go to bed hungry. It's like just part of everything. It's uh, all gas, no brakes, pedal to the metal. We're going there whether you like it or not, kicking and screaming. And I feel like I think there's a lot of Gen X and listeners, people on the call, and everything else like that. So I consider ourselves fortunate that it's like we were people that grew up in an agrarian society world and were able to sort of like figure out how to use this automobile thing and integrate our lives with it. Or like I said earlier, like we knew how to do long version by hand, writing out a math problem on a page. And now technocracy and AI and all this is the scientific calculator where you can get the same answer just by hitting a couple of buttons, like the cheat code. But at least we grew up knowing how to like think for ourselves with the base concepts. Um, we could do the long form math. Then it's easier to do the scientific calculator. At least you have a concept of where all the source material came from, and all this other stuff, right? So I think we're at the same place, scary place with AI, where there's going to be a whole generations of people that the AI is truth. The AI put whatever you need, you ask it, and it'll tell it to you. And it's really at the end of the day, let us never forget, it's just a bunch of series of inputs, algorithms, binary code that's missing like a hard fought um, human element where you're working through problems and understanding things experientially, not via input, and then boom, you just get what you want.
Yeah.
So
And
I
it's
think that's
also,
yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, Randy, but it's also theft from you and your brothers and sisters and your neighbor and your mom and your dad. You know what I mean? Like it's basically listening to all of our conversations, logging all of our conversations, and knowing the kinds of, voices and tones and responses that we will respond positively to or mildly negatively too. Maybe if you turn on like NSFW mode or something like that. So it's like not only is it programmed responses, but it's also responses that are stolen from our own collective Borg mind.
Yeah, I I think that there's a like if you've been alive for a while, and if you know history or learned it um, pre AI, where it's not totally dictated to you, there's still a human element that can like write stuff how it wants and everything else like that as well. But anyways, there's a long game going on. We've seen these tricks before. Um, Monetization, control,
Yep.
surveillance, marketing people. I use the phrase marketing people down to the molecular level, monetizing them down to the molecular level. Everything we do can be um, used as a resource, played out as hell,
The
but
human
like the
battery.
Matrix. Yep, played out as hell, but like if you've been in these circles for a while, but yes, like the Matrix, a human battery to like extract from, and um, in masqueraded as autonomy and freedom. And I don't know, man. It kind of sucks. We almost have to like be a bunch of schizophrenics, know it's coming, but then like what can we do as one person? So it needs a sea change, and I would argue that's why I would argue it keeps a lot of people stupid on purpose by design. Um, I think they got us down to the lifespan. Oh well, by the time they figure it out, they're dead. You know what I mean? So it's like
And they may be right.
it's
They may be
yeah,
100% right about that. It's like
yeah,
every generation and or like slash also you know uh coherency with high technology has a different take on this, and it's like all of their takes are sort of like right where you expect them to be, very predictable. Boomer gen's like, what's this? I don't give a fuck. X gen's like, oh shit, this is going to take my job, but oh shit, I better use it to get rich. And millennial gens like, what I don't know what they're thinking about all this. They're probably getting rich off it right now because they're in the
yeah.
sweet spot, the motivational sweet spot. And then there's the Zoomers who are just like, you know what? Everything's fake and gay. This is bullshit.
Think
I
think of
think.
different.
Go
Oh,
ahead, buddy.
yeah. Sorry, I was like, just think of historical money grabs, the banking system, oil, age of industrialization, colonization, all that other stuff. We've seen the same bullshit just in different clothing historically. And it's, well, why does that person get to be the monarch? Why does that person get to call the shots? Why is this freaking guy, Bill Gates, freaking fucking with our food? Why is Elon, everything's like, wind up going through him or something like that? Why are these players there? Who picked them? Who's driving this? And it's just like politics. Nobody votes for this shit. It's top down. This is all top down, and we know this because we vote for all sorts of stuff our entire lives, and most of it never sees the light of the day, or it gets light of day, it gets bastardized, and then someone else is going to come and fix it, and then they don't. So it's all a big giant con job. It can get pretty fucking depressing when you get down to it. But we, again, like I say, we've seen this trick before, and I just feel like that's all this technocracy is. Um, but again, what can we do about it unless it's always going to be a minority versus the majority, and then until those scales tip or something's really done. I'm not talking revolution, blood in the streets. I ain't saying all that, but like people got to get smarter, and until they don't, as a collective group, but hey, have fun. Yeah, it's just gonna be more of the same. It might as well roll with, as I used to say when I was a youngster, roll with the flow, go with the flow, man. Because we're
Chill,
not,
dude.
unless a
Chill.
meteorite
Chill.
hits or something like that, or we nuke each other. This shit's on the way. You know what I mean?
Right?
So yeah.
Like your religion is basically tool lateralis. Like, I'll see you down in Arizona Bay, motherfucker. I hope you learn to swim. Like, I know how to swim. I'll see you down there. Yeah, dude. Let me bring our friend Mr. Shaft into the show here. We are, gosh, how are we almost an hour into the show? We brought Mr. Shaft into the show. Mr. Cam Shaft, welcome to the boiler room. I know that you and Randy and Pharaoh are usually the ones that need to get out of here first, so I apologize for the lengthy intro tonight, but it's been fun. Mr. Cam Shaft, if you don't know, is a musician, and probably as a musician and a journalist and someone who has been censored and made to be less than some of his colleagues out there who are not doing very original work. So, I mean, you fit right into some of the things that we've been talking about coming into this tonight, Mr. Shaft. Ew, look at that. Look who just creeped into the show there. We've got RFKJ. I'm going to put him back on the backstage there, the side stage. Cam Shaft, welcome to the Boiler Room. Any thoughts on what's been covered so far?
Oh, that's Cam for Cameron, of course. And, one of my many names, and I have many cousins, Rex Cars, and they go by many names. It's an obscure bloodline, not meant to
Right.
be totally understood, of course. The what you're talking about, even when I was away from the computer, I had the sound up so I could hear. You're trying to come to grips and some sort of agreement, or at least some sort of understanding with the world of monopoly,
Yes.
monopolization.
Yes.
And of course, that's born of great wealth. That's born of the money monopoly, the monopoly of credit, the monopoly of monetary power stems directly to information power. And that, of course, the people that monopolize the issuance of credit at interest, what used to be a quill pen is now a computer entry. They have the first and largest interest in controlling the flow of information because they can't let it get out as to what banking is in its modern incarnation and what it does and how it works. That's, you might say, that's the first function or the first fundamental thing that it's all about. They can't let that get out in any widespread, understandable way on which people could take action legally and otherwise. It's like the magician's code. You just can't let people know how the tricks are done. You just can't, okay? You can't stress it enough. But it is getting out some, and there's worry, and that might explain in part this sort of capricious way they operate social media. Oh yeah, that was not against the rules yesterday, but it is today, and we keep moving the goalposts because we can. The chaos, what looks to be chaos or unfairness or even fraud, has a method to the madness. The imbalance is to keep our eye off the prize, is to keep us from realizing the ultimate causes of things and the ultimate reasons for things. So they've got to keep us in sort of a house of mirrors. Every mirror we look in, we look a little different. Our face looks real narrow and elongated in one, and we look 2 feet tall in the next. And it operates on our emotions as well as our intellects. And it breaks your spirit. After a while, your spirit is broken, or at least injured or damaged. And your spirit is the most important thing. That's morale. That's the emotional and spiritual ability and willingness to keep going in spite of the hardship, to keep going in the uphill battle. And they're trying to break your spirit, trying to break your willingness to go on, your willingness to fight the good fight. And you might back up a little. You might try and get a little more fairness out of them. Somebody mentioned a little while ago, you're asking the Dark Lords to grant you a little bit of a, what do they call that? You want to be granted quarter. You want to be given some sort of sanctuary from their constant assault and constant chaos. And they're rarely going to give that to you because they're in charge and you're not. But the truth has a ring to it. The truth has a certain aura about it, and it is getting out enough to where they're doing these very things. And again, as powerful as they may seem, I think some of this is because they're losing their power, or at least the threat is there. And some truths have gotten out about banking and the mass media cartel, probably enough to where they're a little bit worried. And so, they've got to keep us in that house of mirrors as long as they can, to where when we look in the mirror, we're not seeing reality. And so long as we're in that state, they feel that we're less of a threat, or at least not enough of a threat to topple their apple cart. But their day will come. I believe that death by 1,000 cuts, the Lilliputian threads metaphor, eventually will tie down the giant, the tyrant, eventually will win. It might not be us alive in this world, in the temporal world, but those that come after us. One of the key things, and it comes back to what I've said, we've got to build some sort of apparatus or some sort of way to where what we do now will be remembered. To what Hesher said today will be remembered 100 years from now. We have to have some sort of time capsule continuity, whether I mean that literally or figuratively, some way of what we're saying not dying on the vine, and what we're proposing, what we're discerning, what we're figuring out, what we're unraveling, what we're reporting, what we're commenting on. We need to know that future generations will have a way of accessing that. Just an example of something I experienced recently. Your friend and mine, Ron Avery, right? I visited him in Seguin after my wife and I went to Houston to get out of the valley, South Texas, because it's so hot this time of year. Not that it was a lot cooler in Houston, but just a tad. I also went to Canada for a week, which was cool. But we went to a new library, magnificent architecture in Seguin, Texas. It's named after Juan Seguin, who was credited with burying the dead from the Alamo battle. And I went in this library, and they build this wonderful structure, all the latest design, but I'm going through the offerings and it's just hollow intellectually. There's just very little in there in this magnificent structure built in just the right spot. There's really nothing in there apart from a few sundry items here and there of any real literary or historical or intellectual value. The magazines are, Cosmopolitan and, Harper's and junk like the Atlantic Monthly. I mean, the Atlantic is just laughable. But that's as good as it gets. It's like the Atlantic or something. And all your typical court historians, all the typical biographies that we've seen a million times that you can get a million different places. So, our libraries, unfortunately, don't appear to be the answer, although as public libraries, anyone who lives in a given town that has a library should be able to, without too many requirements, put something in there that future generations could see. Some sort of compilation, a collection of CDs, a collection of DVDs, whatever it might be. So people will know that so-and-so used to live in this town and they did some research, and here's a compilation of that. They made a living off of it. Here's a little bit about who they were.
Maybe a little like a small theater with some short mini movies, perhaps. Like we have a train museum here in Temple where they have things like that. There's all kind of way. Spore and I used to live in Monterey, California. They have wonderful, films in there that you could watch, or short information bursts. Like there's so many ways to inform the public about the magic and or history of the location that a young person or maybe an older person that didn't know might be standing in. And we're not moving in that direction, are we? Like we have all these options to do things like that now that we didn't have before. We could have fucking holograms showing the you know what I mean, like the
augmented reality.
We could have all kind of options for that kind of stuff, but it's like, no, we're just gonna feed the internet to ChatGPT and to OpenAI and to Gemini and Grok and let them distill to the youth what their history is.
Exactly. So they substitute what could be just a limited useful tool like AI, helping a college graduate do their term paper or their thesis, maybe a little bit of that sort of thing, just a tool. But no, they want to take it too far. And there's no consent in any of this. Consent is non-existent. So, we're going into this virtual reality where there's this unspoken rule that, like in the Rush song, the priests of the temples of Syrinx, we've taken care of everything, the words you read, the songs you sing. Somebody out there, some invisible force or virtue is saying that you can say this, but you can't say that. And we tell you what the ultimate truths are. You're not supposed to search for the truth. So we don't want any Columbos. We don't want any Sherlock Holmes. And so, truth is defined by those that have the money and the power, although they don't have as much power as you think they have. That some of it is bluff, but nevertheless, we're not going to be in those libraries most likely, and we're not going to be remembered unless we go to extraordinary efforts to be remembered because somebody's defined the truth for us, rather than allowing a rational society where you might not have fixed truths all over the place. Some things are more fixed than others, but free and open inquiry, even when it's something people don't want to hear, is allowed. Then you have the right situation. But people have decided, or at least they've gotten us to think people have decided, that if you say something reasonably offensive, that it can be banned and all these things you talk about YouTube, and that it can't be heard because somebody might be offended, as opposed to reality where whether they're offended or not, there's things that are in the public interest and there are things that the public is interested in. If they're in the public interest, they need to hear them whether they like it or not. There's a tornado a mile outside of town. You may not like it, but you need to know about it. That's in the public interest. So
Right.
what the public's interested in is usually salacious stuff, usually kind of shallow, but you can see where the real standard is ignored and they put in this fake standard that YouTube is an expression of. And then they move the goalposts, yeah, we don't even obey our own rules. I mean, if some organization doesn't obey their own rules, then the whole thing needs to be just started over.
Yeah.
If the police break all the rules, who are they to arrest you?
It's all fungible right now. It's all fungible. Like
right.
The idea of justice itself is subjective. It depends like what district you're in, what judge you have. Do you have a public defender? Do you have a one you paid a lot of money for? Do you have a 5-figure amount defender? Or are you a plaintiff with a 5-figure amount lawyer on your side? It's a huge difference to what it was back in the day, in the olden days, when it was like judges weren't political people. Now they're all political people, and now they all have shady relationships, or at least enough of them in important places have shady relationships with shady DAs, with shady campaign contributors. I mean, Mark, I saw you raise your finger there. I triggered something.
Yeah, you did. I'll be very brief because I do have to turn in soon. I'm back to the column tomorrow after a couple of hiatuses. It used to be where you didn't have to be a lawyer to be a judge, and you shouldn't. A judge should be at least you shouldn't have to be a member of the bar to be a lawyer. So see, if you broke those bonds, if you could be a lawyer without being forced into the bar, if you could be a doctor without being forced into the American Medical Association, or if you could be a judge without necessarily having to be a lawyer, and sheriffs, there was a time when there were sheriffs that were not duly trained police officers. They were more administrators. Now, there could be pros and cons, but if you broke some of those monopolistic bonds, you might start seeing a different world.
Right, exactly. And we're seeing this right now. I could get into this a little bit later. I'm going to let everybody else talk for a minute. And then I got an icebreaker. If we actually want to do an icebreaker, an hour and 10 minutes into the show, but I got one. But we're starting to see now where it's like, oh, wait, the things that people used to say 10, 15, 20 years ago, people that now no longer say the same things. Like if you go back, for example, and look at Alex Jones's Police State DVD from like 2011 or 10 or whatever, and look at the way he talks now. I mean, Owen Schroyer left. There's a whole drama thing there. We're hip to that. We could talk about that at some point tonight. But there's a big sea change that's happened for a lot of people between like then and now things are like more crystal clear than they have been in a long time about some of these questions. So it just, unfortunately, questions beg more questions when we see this sort of thing going on. Let me.
No, I need to hear Bays do Alex Jones from back in the day, warning everybody about troops on the streets and FEMA camps, and
FEMA
then
camp-
They're going to kill you and
talking
your
about
family.
how
Now, I have a
awesome it
family
is.
audience, so I can't say. All right. But we're dead already. Look, I don't believe this. All right. I think there's something to be said for what you guys are talking about in terms of, especially in terms of history moving in cycles with this stuff. It's interesting that in terms of public spaces with knowledge and with books, and especially when we talk about libraries, one of the examples you brought up, Hesher, with the holographic, displays is actually a thing that occurs at the end of the Time Machine. You guys, if you've seen the Time Machine that was made about 20 years ago, especially the film version of the H.G. Wells book, there is a holographic set. But what's interesting is that all of these things always occur. The holographic knowledge set in the library telling you the truth is also ruled by the Morlocks who who live underground and have depopulated Earth and have become priests of scientism, and just another cycle of a kind of technocratic dystopia. It also occurs in Brave New World, right, where the books exist, but Mustafa Mon controls the books. It's the same in V for Vendetta. This is always the case where I think that the only way to sort of combat this is, I mean, the early Christian monks really set a good precedent because books existed and society was crumbling, and there was degradation and deprivation and decadence, and they took books and saved them from flames, and then curated their own personal libraries. And then now the cycle has sort of gone all the way to now we see books in places that are again being controlled. But there are very few great libraries in the world that have the sort of all access to knowledge. Like if you go to Trinity College Library and you see the Book of Kells in Dublin, that's amazing. There are a few of these places, but the only real way I think to combat this is to curate your own library and to have your own books that you're going to save, because they will almost always get destroyed or taken away. It almost always ends up being the case. And then to produce something, to create something like Mark was saying, to make something that people will remember, but that almost always gets controlled by the powers that be. Even the library at Alexandria and the burning of it is kind of a misnomer. It wasn't the ancient wonder of the world. It was the lighthouse at Alexandria, not even the library. So things disappear. They will continue to disappear, especially when the name of the game is depopulation and subjugation of a population in order to lead to nothingness. So the only way to get around it is to sort of make your own thing. I think I always prefer to go to great bookstores rather than libraries. I never count on going to a public library and being able to find anything that's worthwhile at all. And I've been to a lot of libraries. I'll go to, when I lived in New York, I would go to the Strand bookstore or something, or you go to a rare bookstore. But even now, I think part of the problem is that technology must have seemed like a world-ending event every time we had a great leap forward. Like, look at the late 1400s when the printing press was invented. But when Caxton brought the printing press to England, all of a sudden you have this sort of extension from the Magna Carta, and now we have a democratization in the world in the printing press, and everybody can say whatever they want. But it quickly gets co-opted and controlled by the ruling powers. And so, with AI, I think, and all this stuff, it's happening so fast. It's like so slow and yet so fast. The major changes in hardware don't seem to be doing much, but the changes in software and the way people think is really alarming, because unlike those other times when you had like even spell checker, like in the 80s and 90s, seemed like a thing that was, could go either way. But now everything is so internalized. It's changing the way that people think. And the printing press did that to a large extent, but now it's to the very basic granular level of every single person seems to be affected by this stuff. And I think that we're both like at a sort of genesis period with all this stuff, and it's got a long way to go. But the only way to get around it is that I think it's important to keep in mind that one thing with these technocratic people is that they always have cultural and literary touchstones that they go back to from an analog world. So Palantir is, Lord of the Rings. Elon is continuously talking about science fiction books and science fiction movies. It's always something that was created by a person that seems to be a touchstone for the future, but you just can't let it change the way that you do things on a daily basis in terms of the way that you think. And that's going to be a real problem, I think, in the future, especially like you guys were talking about with as the generations pass and everything gets memory hold so fast now. It's so much different from all the technological advances of the past.
Right. Like I'm basically not doing my best as a IT person, as a content creator, as a host, as a podcaster, if I don't utilize the tools that are now available to me. Like, for example, I mentioned earlier in the show, I have a problem. My problem is the first 7-8 years of the show have been censored or are no longer allowable on the internet, and I can fix that problem manually myself. I have the skills to do that. I have the audio engineering skills to do that. I have the web skills to do that. I've got Ruckus by my side willing to help me with that. And I know approximately how much time that would take. But I have to now think about my competition. I don't like to think about competition. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really think about what I do in that way, but it's like we have a problem with finances. We have to think in that way. We have to think in a business minded way. And it's like, I know that my competition, if they had the same problem that I have, they would probably utilize, or some of them would probably utilize an artificial intelligence to help them solve that problem and get beyond it. So it's like, I'm a moron as in someone with a master's degree in IT management to not take that as an opportunity. You know what I mean? And that sucks me in, necessarily sucks me into that ecosystem. And then I have to figure out how to operate within it instead of being a Ted Kaczynski and saying, fuck this, I'm operating outside of it. So that puts us, a lot of us in a really strange situation. Let me hand it to Camshaft and then Randy J. I saw Randy J unmute a couple of times here. I want to get him in. I know they both have to leave soon. So we're going to go to Camshaft, Randy J, then Mystical Pharaoh, and just kind of let them tell us what's big on their minds right now before they got to get out of here. So Cam, over to you. TheTruthHound.com, by the way, is where you follow Cam.
Are you more interested in getting off what you're talking about now and talking about what's going on news-wise, or?
I'm interested in what you're interested in right now, Mark Anderson. I mean, Camshaft. So let us know. Make sure you give a shout out to UK Column, everything you're doing. Our friend Patrick Henningson's over there on Fridays as well as you. So we want to hear what's upcoming over there. We want to hear what you've been interested in lately, because we have a set of notes for the show tonight that is, quite frankly, a little bit staggering, but I know that you tend to hone in on certain things. So I want to hear about what you've been honing in on lately.
Let me see. Weaponized neuroscience. There's a study that was done in association with NATO, where the human mind is the final frontier of warfare. And there's a quote in that study that says, peace is merely the continuation of war with other means. And
isn't that like a Nietzsche quote or something? I feel like I've heard that. I feel like I have an Impaled Nazarene album that has a title similar to that, like "War is Peace" or something like that.
Yeah, it's very Orwellian, and there's fairly recently, I did something called the Ditchley Foundation. The Ditchley Foundation is sort of this chummy group that meets in a very posh estate in the UK, and they have an American affiliate and whatnot. And they have journalists that are very heavily embedded into the actual direction of the Ditchley Foundation, including a New York Times foreign affairs reporter. Just egregious conflicts of interest by major media figures. but the Ditchley Foundation is sort of like a cross between Bilderberg and Trilateral. It's a little more open than Bilderberg and Trilateral, but it's another gear in the engine that I found. Not that it was unfound. In other words, I didn't absolutely unearth this fresh, like, oh, here's Jimmy Hoffa, but it's not really well talked about, the Ditchley Foundation. So I'm looking into them. I've done 1 or 2 reports on them. Sort of a cousin of Bilderberg and Trilateral. So there's that. And there's Exercise Pegasus I talked about on UK Column fairly recently. This is the UK's planned fall, let's say latter September into October, something like that, probably a little bit of October and November, a planned major drill for another pandemic. So they're calling it a drill. If there were another pandemic, and this is what they hypothetically would do, but drills have a funny way of turning into the real thing. So that's something rather imminent. Exercise Pegasus in the UK, and a dress rehearsal for another pandemic. So those would probably be some of the major highlights. So some fairly juicy things.
Excellent. All right. Well, Mark, if you want to hang out for the icebreaker, even though we're an hour and 20 minutes into the show, you're very welcome to. If you got to go, we totally understand.
Yeah, I got a blast. I got to sleep. I just flew in last night. I won't use that stupid joke, and boy, are my arms tired.
And boy, my arms tired.
Right.
The right and the left.
But it was kind of late.
Stupid joke. Everybody's laughing, man.
Well, sometimes the dumbest joke, you hate yourself for laughing at it, and you laugh anyway. That's it's like reverse psychology. This is so stupid, you're going to laugh.
The classics.
But yeah, exactly. So yeah, I got a little bit of jet lag. I got out of here and went to Canada for a week, and got out of the hot weather. Man, it's so hot here in South Texas this time of year. But
man, we had people in the comments saying, I love this comment. I'm going to scroll up to find it. I can't remember who said it, but someone said, who goes to Houston to get away from the heat? And I just started laughing, as someone who's lived in Texas for 10 years and been where you live and been down to the border and all that. It's like, I get it, man. Just those little micro changes make a big difference.
Well, we stayed at this wonderful home of one of my wife's relatives, ultra air conditioned, spacious, beautiful. So there was a little bit of a
double-decker AC unit makes a big difference, buddy.
And we went out to Galveston, and it was cooler by the water, and it was all good.
Awesome, man.
The beer was very cold, and the barbecue was very good, and we'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, tell Mrs. Truthhound that we love her, and we're glad you guys had a great vacation, and thanks for joining us tonight.
And no worries. Yeah, say hi to Spore. We'll see you later.
All right. We will.
See you guys later.
There goes Mr. Shaft, Mr. Cam Shaft, aka Mark Anderson, thetruthhound.com, host of Stop the Presses, also found on ukcolumn.org on Fridays and here in the Boiler Room. Let me go to Randy J. Randy J, I know you got some commentary you want to throw in there, and I know you have to leave soon as well, but you're welcome to hang out for Icebreaker if we ever get there, man. But over to you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess what's on my radar or consciousness or whatever the hell lately is I'm just sort of fascinated by and this is nothing new, and a lot of our listeners and other people on the call right now are familiar with, but it never ceases to amaze me how compartmentalized or how easy people can forget stuff. And, the news cycle gets faster. All these different mass bang, bang, bang things that happen, like get forgotten and all that. And I think a positive thing that's going on is there's a lot of stuff I'm seeing on the interwebs right now, YouTube specifically, showing stuff very simple, but it would be like Bill Clinton talking when he was president, addressing Congress or doing whatever. And the guy sounds like what would today be absolute dyed in the
Statesman.
wool,
Statesman.
right? Well, dyed in the wool, right wing, freaking Republican, talking about immigration and crime and all that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Like they would
mean,
have a MAGA hat on if they were there today.
yes, I mean, we're talking like completely total cognitive dissonance from the same media, pumping that guy up and vilifying the other guy. And I'm not getting into do you like them? Who are they all really working for? I'm just on a very surface level. One guy saying it's raining, and they're all going, yeah. And the other guy saying it's raining, and they're going, no, it ain't. But it is. I mean, it's like a complete flip. Everything turned on its head. So I think stuff like that getting out is maybe, I don't know, catching. It's making a lot more people at least ask questions and think about stuff, and hopefully more of that can happen um, faster than the control mechanisms could start regulating and banning and censoring. And along that line too, I think a lot of this, I mean, for a lot of people, I'm seeing like this Epstein, anything Epstein is making people go, wait a minute, why did that mechanism, blackmail, um, was he a Mossad guy? Just those very little baby step questions by a lot of, I don't want to talk down on people, like, mouth breathers or just Joe Blow or whatever, but like a lot of Joe Blow, Jane Does are like, going like, hey, what is this about? And they're falling down a lot of weird stuff like, aliens or whatever the hell, right? They're like going on all these tangents, but they're asking the questions, right? It all doesn't happen at once. I think everyone here, we're still learning stuff as we go. I like to use the phrase or the analogy. It's not like a light switch, like boom, all of a sudden you get it. It's more like the lights are dim and they're slowly getting brighter. They may never be fully switched on, but at least people are like seeing things more for what they are, instead of like undercover or curated for us or spun a certain way. And so there, so I feel like I'm in a fantasy novel or a movie. So there's hope. Don't give up
Yeah.
hope
I get
while
it.
while the
Randy,
truth is still alive. Yeah.
are you saying that the Epstein files thing and the allowed discussion currently going on is simply to get us ready for alien disclosure? If I'm following you correctly.
Okay. There's a lot of dots that need to get connected in there, and maybe forced in some instances. But I wasn't going there. But I mean, maybe. Yeah.
I'm just having fun with you, dude.
You son of a. Okay, but like anyway. Maybe. Uh,
It's coming.
but
I still think
anyways,
it's coming.
I have
yeah.
I have the clip. If no one has to like bounce off immediately, I have a perfect clip for right now. Let me see if I can find it here. No, it's not the Cardi B trial, although that is hilarious. Let's see here. No. God, Ruckus, I've made too many links tonight, dude. We thought this might happen. It did. Let's see here. Oh, here we
There's
go.
something in.
I found it. Let me and I don't mean to play this to slander anyone. I just find the whole thing very interesting that something like this is out there on, a well-produced sort of, modern podcast. Let me share this with you guys here. This one is called, if I recall, Bill Cooper Ain't Like Alex Jones. Not one bit. I wonder why. Ruckus, you in particular are going to love this. Here we go.
This guy, William Cooper, predicted 9/11 before Alex Jones. And this guy, William Cooper, hated Alex Jones.
Wow.
Said that Alex Jones was a fearmonger and potentially a disinformation agent. On June 28th, 2001, just months before 9/11, Cooper said the following on his radio show: "I'm telling you to be prepared for a major attack, but it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order.
Oh my
They
gosh.
need a major attack in order to launch their plans for a world government and to take away your freedoms." So he said that in June 2001, before 9/11. But then on November 5th, cops showed up to his house to arrest him for tax evasion, ended up supposedly getting in a shootout and killing him.
What?
Weeks after 9/11,
Are we dumb?
Cooper didn't trust anyone. He despised UFO cults, even though he claimed to have seen UFOs while in the Navy, and later believed aliens were a government hoax. He believed aliens may be demonic in nature or part of a Luciferian deception. Disclosure will be fake and used to create a one world religion under the Antichrist. The more he actually started reading scripture and stuff, he changed his views on what aliens were. He said in 2000 on a broadcast, "The whole alien thing, it's a lie. The day they fake an alien landing, you better know it's the devil coming."
Oh my gosh.
This guy, William Cooper, though, man, he would have been
Great guest.
He was
wild.
He would have been an amazing guest.
Wouldn't he though? Oh my God, Ruckus! Could you imagine if Bill
Dude.
Cooper was still here today?
That was like everything we were just talking about, like
I
up to
know,
this
right?
point, like rolled into one. I don't know how that happened. That is amazing. Yeah, I loved that, but I also hated it, knowing the fact that whoever presented that gets like 1 million clicks and probably, doesn't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, I'm guessing. But and then
147,000.2K views, dude, on a guy
Nice.
that we've been in sort of tangentially directly talking about, been on podcasts where his words have been in the introduction and avoided using those ourselves because we wanted to, but they had already been done 15 years ago. And here are these, no shade on whoever that is. That came from Mr. Red Pills, JOKAQ Army, whatever
Well,
that
see,
means.
but I take inspiration from this. Maybe it's not the information being presented that's wrong. I guess it's how it's being done. So if we take
Yeah.
the same crazy, sit down, you crazy wild conspiracy theorist, you Trump lover, you Trump hater, fill in the blank, whatever people want to label you as. If you act as though you just discovered this and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't believe it. Have you heard about this? And then they're like, it's the reaction video to the metal music that you were describing earlier. That's what these people were doing. Like, the guy was familiar with Bill Cooper, or at least learned about it. Maybe ChatGPT told him about it. I don't know how he discovered it, but he seemed fairly new to the whole thing, unless he's very clever about the way of injecting it. But the people, those are responses from real people, and supposedly a bit of a microcosm of what the audience is similarly reacting to if they've never heard this before. It's like the lady's like, "Oh, shut up, no way." Like that's the reaction the audience is going to get, versus where if you just, like us, calmly explain it to somebody, they'll be like, "Shut up, no way." Big difference.
Yeah.
Same words, but completely different meaning.
Everything has to fit into an emote, like you emote.
Yeah.
So all the reactions have to be almost like, like you're using, I don't know. It has to be friendly to, like you were saying, it's a first reaction to people who are completely unaware of any of this happening. Like when you listen to Bill Cooper talk about the lion's paw handshake and how the pyramid is a complete, it completely encapsulates the mystery religions within the pyramid. That's very, it's amazing. It's very interesting to listen to, but you can't, you have to react like it's emojis. Everything has to be an emoji, like embodied in your human composition for you to get any traction, for it to be TikTok friendly, I suppose.
And we here at Alternate Current Radio don't think that way, because we had Doyle Shamley, who was probably the closest person to William Cooper, on Sunday Wire. I produced this show with Patrick Henningsen from 21stCenturyWire.com. Patrick Henningsen as far as I know, and we were told at the time, this was the last interview Doyle Shamley was going to give about Bill Cooper. You could not find someone closer than Doyle Shamley to Bill Cooper. And we went through in detail the last day of his life and Doyle's impression of what happened on that day. And what those young folks on that show right there, great for them. I appreciate them for keeping Bill Cooper's name alive and kind of juxtapositioning him with Alex Jones, and that's all very valid and very important, but it's something people like us will forget about and are not doing anymore, because literally a decade ago or 8 or 7 years ago, we did the last interview that the closest person to him ever did. That's in the Sunday Wire archives, which, by the way, are also affected by that copyright music thing that we were talking about earlier. So if you can't find it, that's why. But it's sitting here on my hard drive right now. I could, if we really wanted to, I could bring it up right now. I could play it for you. You could hear him talk about the actual last day of Bill Cooper's life, which is far more salacious than what you saw in that video right there. That was not just a warrant being served in broad daylight. That was something completely different. Like the story of his last day of life. Forgive me for ranting here. I'm going to go to Mystical Pharaoh, Randy J, and then Ruckus, and then Bays Lit Analyzer next. But that was the short version. That was the Wikipedia version that you heard right there. It's actually much more frightening. And it's actually the reason that people like Ruckus and myself make sure we are armed 24/7. The story of the end of Bill Cooper is something that should affect you the same way if you think about and know the context of the end of the life of Randy Weaver or David Koresh. People like that. Our homies up there at Sugar Pine Mines, Lavoy Finicum. Like, there's a reason why people like us that have been in this game for years and years and years don't exist unarmed and just expect someone to protect us. And Bill Cooper is a big part of that. Let me go to Mystical Pharaoh and then Randy J and then Bazed and then Ruckus. Pharaoh, over to you, man. It's a big room tonight. I'm sorry it's so hard to get some mic time, dude. Over to you.
No, it's okay, man. I mean, I've been enjoying listening to everybody. From my side, I mean, I'm game to whatever you want to get into. Let's just get into it.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, dude. This week, the Trump administration bombed with a drone what we're told is a Tren de Aragua drug smuggling boat with more than a dozen people on it. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think nobody has a due process anymore. If they think you are a drug dealer or you committed a crime, you should be shot on sight with an unarmed drone. Yeah, there's. I guess that's a new norm that Trump is doing, right?
Is it even new though? I mean, it's kind of the same shit we saw during the Obama administration.
Well, at least Obama was like, "Oh, I'm killing terrorists," but now we're actually saying we're killing drug dealer, right?
Well, we put the drug dealers on the terrorist list, bro.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's
Is it my question to you is it that easy to put a group of people, foreign or domestic, on a quote unquote terrorist list now? I mean, how long have we been fighting that idea? Oh, wait, since 9/11, which we're like a week away from right now, like in 2001. So, what is this administration doing that's conservative with regards to maybe rolling back perhaps things like the Patriot Act and shit like that that's been used subjectively against people foreign and domestically for, you know, news headlines.
Yeah, I can tell you this administration did nothing for our freedom. As a matter of fact, it's completely the opposite. Surveillance state is expanding. Um, as you say, yeah, exactly. uh, due process, is not there, and the fact is, conservative cheering for it is so stupid, right? Because and that goes back to my really headline of principles fold fast, right? Because what I'm finding out right now, there's so many people out there that really have no principles. Um, the fact that there are people cheering that trannies shouldn't own guns, right? I'm like, okay, what the fuck, and conservative, you know. So now we're going to target certain groups and their Second Amendment rights. Like what are you guys thinking? So but that's again, that's a result of the mass brainwashing that people has been through, and demonization and the dehumanization of any group that does not follow the same belief system. And you can take that and apply it to political opponents. You can apply it on foreigners, other people they don't agree with it, right? So but yeah, when it comes to that, if you don't agree on this or we don't share the same belief, then I don't need to give you the same rights I have.
Let me
Period.
let me pause you right there, okay? Because that was kind of a big thing in our back channel chat this week. Here's the article for those of you watching, for those of you listening out of dreaded Breitbart.com. The headline is Justice Department considering ban on transgendered people owning firearms. All right, let me stop you right there and not waste your time with reading you any of this article or giving you any analysis like line by line, because that headline is all you need to know. Let me put it on screen again, just in case you didn't catch it, or if you're listening only. Justice Department considering ban on transgendered people owning firearms. Do you have any idea how close of a shoots and ladders, hop, skip, jump it is to go from taking transgendered people and making that a Mad Lib and making it be people on SSRIs, people who are experiencing PTSD, people whose domestic partner has reported them as potentially dangerous and owning a firearm for no reason. Once you take that, so you got to realize the Con Inc. of today has, especially during the Biden administration and the Obama administration, has tried to radicalize people on the conservative side the same way they've radicalized people on the left against quote unquote domestic terrorists, quote unquote right wing extremists. That's why we've coined this term, the Daily Shooter Program. That's why we have questioned all these incidents. And, you know, to the mainstream conservatives that love the idea of, yeah, let's make it so quote unquote transgendered individuals don't have a Second Amendment.
I have news for you. It's unconstitutional, bitches.
It is. It is. And it's we talked about metrics earlier, right? What are your metrics? What are your metrics to prove this? So how does that work? If you've officially on your driver's license, which they spent the last, 9 years setting up a system for, allows you to pick something other than male or female for your gender, like all of a sudden that piece of large data makes it such that you no longer have a constitutional right if you're in the United States of America. What's to stop them from changing that to, well, if you're on SSRIs, well, if you've gone to a medical marijuana dispensary, well, if you're on this drug or that drug, or if you've posted on this Reddit or that Reddit, or this person has said something about you, or this person has said something about you, you no longer have your constitutional right. Fuck you. Do you hear me? No. And fuck you. Like, we have been very vocal about our opinions about cultural engineering and about the idea of transgenderism. And we've been very supportive of people and their freedoms. And my only question is this, with regards to this question, Pharaoh. Are these shootings recently that we've been seeing by alleged transgender people, are we going to have any public disclosure about what happened? Will we, as journalists / the public, have access to the police report? Will we, as journalists and public people, have access to full body cam disclosure?
No, you're not. You're only going to get the first 72-hour reactions and, the propaganda, whatever they want to push, and then it's over, right? No, you're not going to hear anything about it.
So what you're saying, I agree with you. And what you're saying, if I have this correct me if I'm wrong, is that whatever the current administration is, regardless of whether I support them or not, or you support them or not, or our listener / viewer supports them or not, whatever is said in the headlines and whatever is said by politicians and whatever is said by Pam Blondie and the DOJ is what happened, rather than allowing the public to see the police reports and all that stuff, which our journalists that we work with, like Mark Anderson, who was here earlier, have committed freedom of information requests before in the past multiple times, to include the South Texas event that happened and other events that have happened. Other journalists that we've worked with that have been on scene in San Bernardino in 15, 16, 17, when that happened. Why is it that when an independent outlet like us works with independent journalists who go to scenes where we've seen narratives like Uvalde, same with Uvalde. I covered extensively foul-mouthed veterans coverage on site in Uvalde and what happened to him in the wake of that. Why is it that when journalists and citizens ask for information about the facts, the forensic facts, the police report facts at what happened at these events, they're handed redacted documents? And how is it that policy and legislation is shaped around headlines when these documents and situations are only allowed to be reported by very specific media outlets? That's all we're asking. And I think that's a valid question for most people to say, hey, wait, pump the brakes. We're not going to make legislation around headlines and analysis from mass media cartel agencies that get yellow cards, right? A yellow card is when your executive producer hands you something that says, sorry, that part of the story, you got to kill it.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question. Would any other administration have been able to put something like that, like their DOJ come out and say, we're considering banning certain group from owning firearms? Do you think any other administration would have been able to do that?
No, this is the perfect time. This is the perfect setup. Thank you. The great question, Pharaoh. This is exactly what we've been talking about on this show, on today's News Talk, on the Pulse, on all Mike Ryan's platforms, here at Alternate Current Radio. This is what Sunday Wire. This is what we've been saying for years. For years. Why is this happening? How is this happening? How does it make sense? And it's very easy for you, the powers that be, you, the politicians, you, the mainstream media, to prove us wrong or to answer our questions and assuade our skeptibility. But do they do that? No. They censor us. They make us less than. They subject us to terms and conditions that are incalculable. This is this right here. All right. Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, Alternate Current Radio. This is the place that literally built a taxonomy for what we dub the Daily Shooter program, that literally gave weeks of our lives away to understand what happened in Columbine, in SH, in Boston,
Mandalay Bay.
in Mandalay Bay. We spent so much time on Mandalay Bay with all our partners, Jay Dyer, Randy J, myself, 21 Wire, Spore, Sean Helton, a number of us spent months of man hours on Las Vegas, on Mandalay Bay. Randy J was there for that.
The
And
Orlando shooter.
we had it down to a science at that point, right?
Yeah, the Orlando shooter.
Pulse
In fact, that was
nightclub.
In fact, that was about the time, real early on, we noticed like a certain script they would follow.
Yeah.
The event happened, get the officials for the photo op slash camera shot where you got the mayor, you got the FBI Fed guy, you got the local sheriff, you got the police chief, you got the operations center civilian guy with the khaki pants and collared shirt with the ID hanging around his neck, and the lawyer and this person and that person. And it was always a diverse group too, like the Asian, the black dude, the white guy, whatever.
The gay actor.
Someone doing the sign language so that everybody could freaking understand what was being said. I mean, right? It all just followed a certain
the taxi drivers, the body cam footage,
the IMDb account,
the footage of the screen of the stage.
And always with missing information
and misleading information. Here's exactly, dude. You got my vibe there. It's just like missing
the Ellen interviews with the security guard.
Yeah, man.
Or the weird one, right? The weird one, right? F it. I got some pull at my work. I could go another 15, but this got my whatever firing too.
We got Randy J's hackles up here.
No, you remember the one? I think it was the San Bernardino one. Never seen anything like it at the time that I could remember. They just straight up went into the people's house.
The orgy of evidence. Orgy of evidence.
And it looked damn near staged. They looked like they were a small family. I think it was a couple.
A couple, yeah.
With kids.
They might have had kids. I don't remember. But
there was Disney pics in one of the bedrooms or something like that.
Yeah.
But they got shot the hell up. I always maintain that those people weren't involved because there was the stories of the guys in SWAT gear going in there.
Right.
But those were the two that got taken out. And I almost look at it like it was an expendable asset on a whole nother slant that they said, okay, let's have the local authorities think that it's them. They'll take them out for us. And then the real mofos that went in and went out, we'll just suppress that or something. It looked like something went wrong on that. And maybe they were trying to do a couple things at once. But that one, all of these were like hello. And you talk about the hours put into this stuff. That's why I remember some of this stuff. But like Yeah, all of that stuff was sus as F.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely. Yeah.
And there's the easiest way to unsus AF each of these events. The South Church in here in Texas. Mark Anderson went down there. He gave us in person, on the ground reports of anomalies that contradict the mass media cartel story on that event. Okay. Uh, Again, as I mentioned, foul mouthed veteran on YouTube went to Uvalde. We know him as well. He's a friend. He's a local here. Shout out to him. Follow him on YouTube. He went to Uvalde. He didn't know me very well when that happened, but I followed him very closely while that was going on because he was on site. He was taking footage with his cell phone, and he was so far ahead of the mass media cartel and so in line with our taxonomy for what the Daily Shooter program is. All right. And by what I mean by taxonomy, if you don't know that word, ask your chat GPT or put it in your search browser. But it's basically a metadata matrix for analyzing a particular thing. A taxonomy is something that is valuable. A taxonomy is something that would relate to a database with attributes. So, if you don't understand databases, you make a database about a certain thing, and a certain thing, whether that's a business process, whether that's a person, whether that's whatever, Mad Libs, insert here, attributes are what describe a thing, right? Like adjectives and verbs describe a noun. It's like that. That's what a taxonomy is. And you can take something very complicated, very nuanced and unique, like a potential program of psychological operations that is attached with violent events and the way that the media portrays them to people. And on top of that, the way in which legislation and society is nudged and changed based on this operation. You can take that anything, even something that complicated where you can't have all the answers about it, and understand that there's a way to organize it. All right. There's a way to say, I call this the Daily Shooter program. Here's the supposition about the concept. Here are the attributes about this new term that I've created. All right. This is what I did for a living. This is what I did for my master's thesis. This is what I did with complex systems. This is also what I carried from that and worked with Patrick Henningsen and worked with my friends at 21 Wire and worked with my friends here in the boiler room and worked with our guests that we've pulled in, thousands of them by now, probably on alternate current radio and TNT combined. Shout out to Mike Ryan and TNT. They have a new enterprise. I don't know how widely I'm supposed to advertise it. We're looking to help them make sure that they are viable in the future, and that's something that we're talking about here tonight. But shout out to them. Ruckus was on Mike's show this week. I was on Mike's show last week. There's a small group of us that are trying to figure this out, and people like us that have tried to lay it out in a way where we bring receipts. I don't know. That's where we're at with this thing right now. And one of the things that I believe we warned about back when the Tennessee school shooting happened last year was that if we don't have full transparency and full ability to send FOIA requests to the government, to the state police, to the local police about an event like what happened in Tennessee, right? Because what happened there was handed over to the FBI. If you want to do a FOIA report with the FBI, you better have a lawyer, and your lawyer better be able to, you better be retained with your lawyer to the point where he will take the time to take them to court and see that all the way through, to release that FOIA. Those are the journalists, the few and far between that we get information from. I am not in that category. Mark Anderson is almost in that category, but he doesn't have that lawyer. Ruckus isn't in that category. Pharaoh's not in that category. Bazed is not in that category. Randy J's not in that category. We don't have lawyers on retainer. Candace Owens does. Tucker Carlson does. Shit, Nick Fuentes probably does now. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, Nick. I have so many questions, which lead back to my intro monologue, but I'm not going to go there right now. My point is, if there's a taxonomy here, if we're correct, if every time we've seen these things, and there's a daily shooter for everybody's outrage now, right? All the way from the trenchcoat mafia of 1997 to the trans mafia of 2024/2025. Think about that widespread of villains that have been created. You can take it all the way back to Walt Whitman.
Oswald. Oh,
Oswald. Okay. Walt Whitman and Oswald. You take it all the way back. And then it starts getting really weird. And you start wondering, well, why can't I just Lee Harvey Oswald? Why can't I just have all the facts on this? And why is legislation constantly changing because of these things where we're not allowed to have the facts? So,
are people still talking about this Oswald guy? Look, this was just a guy. Okay, I don't even want your support anymore. Why?
Call them former MAGA now because they question me on Walt Whitman, 9/11.
Whitman. The poet.
Yeah. Over to you guys. I've been going long enough.
Before I bounce, man. And I just want to say, it's good to be back on and everything, and hanging out with the gang again, jumping in the chat. Good chat tonight. Some provocative stuff going on in there. But I think that a good thing to like hang our hat on, or for everyone to just like keep in mind, and we all do, I think, but I'll say it anyways. There's always the agenda, right? And it's always like you gotta turn the map around, meaning like if you're attacking somebody, or you're defending yourself against someone else's attack, it's always good to turn the map around and try and see it from the other person's perspective or whatever.
A little Sun Tzu art of war, perhaps.
Yeah. To like, right? What's the enemy thinking, or whatever? Well, if everybody does get smart and wants to overthrow something, it'd probably be pretty cool if they didn't have guns, or they were like highly regulated and essentially didn't, or couldn't, or anything to deter it, all the way up to like confiscating them and everything else like that. So we talked about earlier, it's wild that Clinton sounds like Trump, and they're diametrically opposed parties this day, but they like absolutely did a 180 and flipped on certain things. And we've always sort of talked about and known that at some level it's a gamesmanship, it's a pendulum swing, it's a something to keep us political theater, right? Like all these Congress hearings and all that, but whatever actually happens and everything else like that. So, but if you go to the ultimate objective, well, that's why they can bend and twist themselves into pretzels and even straight contradict themselves, or switch alignments and make it make sense, because, well, that's what lawyers do, that's what judicial systems do. But it's always, well, the Constitution says that. No, it says that. Well, we're both reading the same thing, and I say it says this. It's all for an ultimate objective, right? Surveillance, taking guns away. And if you really think about it, it's not what quote unquote the people want. It's all paranoia to tell us what we think we want, according to them, and to protect their agendas, their goals, the class system. I mean, you can't be part of the 1% if you're now all of a sudden part of the 20% or the 30% or the 100%. You can't have all that cool shit if everybody has all that cool shit. Someone's got to fly my private jet, and so everybody can't have a private jet. Otherwise, no one's having a private jet. You get what I'm saying? Like that pyramid thing.
Luxury must be protected, right? Like
Yeah.
luxury and high class living. And this is something that came up on the last boiler room when you weren't here, Randy, but we took it back. You were on this episode in 2015 or 16, where our buddy Shredder sent in this video, and it was of CEOs of like Dolce and Gabbana and Gucci. I don't know if that's correct, but it's like of that level, like luxury brands talk in 2015, right? Like a decade ago, talking about how to remain relevant in the future, considering they didn't say it this way, but considering basically that technocracy is coming, that universal basic income is coming, that digital IDs are coming, that robotics and nanotech are coming, and all this, crap that like lurks under what we talk about all the time are coming. But the fact that, a decade ago, back when we started this show, luxury brand owners were having like TED Talk style talks about why and how they will remain relevant a decade from then, aka now, was extremely illuminating. Same, it's like a similar conversation could be had for real estate people, for insurance people, for political people. You know what I mean? It was like 10 years ago, back when we started this show and started warning about technocracy and this kind of shit back when we met you. These things were already there, and now they're like becoming completely normalized.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think ultimately it I like trying to get things down to common denominators, right? Because when you start looking at this stuff and scaling back, it's like an insane person's math equation on a giant wall-sized whiteboard where you're writing out the equation and it takes up the entire board, and the whole class is working on it for a for like a
It's
semester or
like
something
John
like that.
Nash writing a war games equation on a window at Cambridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And but at the end of the day, it's nice to just have like that bullet point that's like, well, they're just trying to protect what they got, so they want to keep things the way they are, so they're doing crazy shit to not let um us dictate to them. So it's sort of like a weird parasite host relationship where it's like, okay, we're gonna let them do whatever so that we can have these cool things and not be living in grass huts and drinking out of the river. So we're going to give up these certain things, and they're like, well, we need them to mop the floors and um, show up to Jeff Epstein's house underage and all these other things we need them for, and then throw them away. Otherwise, we can't have what we have. It's a crazy thought, but I mean, it's kind of the system we're in a weird way. All right, guys, I got to dip. I got to hit the eject button.
All right, man. There's a lot of friends and listeners
Thanks,
in
Randy
the
J.
chat wishing you a farewell there. Godspeed, Randy J. Says Crease. See it, Randy. Says Awake Jake. Always great to hear your perspectives and opinions. Good humor, dude. Sage says take care later. Everybody over there in the other streams too. Randy, I'm really stoked you're here with us tonight, man. We miss you every time you're not here. And man, thanks for being here tonight. And I don't know if I got to tell you guys, I'm gonna share this on air to the wider public, but we were hoping to get together earlier this year with our hopeful annual alternate current radio and 21st century wire combination creator summit, and we're shelving it this year. So I talked to the Henningsen brothers, I talked to Spore, I talked to some of you, but Mystical Pharaoh, there's a chance we're going to have a meetup here in the Austin, Texas, Central Texas area. And I've also floated the idea to the Henningsen brothers that maybe we do something in Tennessee. So we're looking at sort of alternative hangouts for us this year that may or may not include some live streaming for those of you out there that are fans of Sunday Wire, alternate current radio, the Boiler Room, the Baselit Analyzer channel, the Jay Dyer channel. We were really planning to have everybody together this year. Hopefully our friend Alex Zek was going to join us and some of our other colleagues, Joseph Arthur. But we're going to put that off until next year. Maybe plan something more informal, maybe be available for some important events happening in Baselit Analyzer's life right around that time. So I wanted to throw just that out there for the public and for you guys here in the Boiler Room, because some things are fluxing. I've been speaking with Patrick offline, and both 21 Wire and alternate current radio we are listener and viewer supported. And we really try to future proof ourselves and make sure that we're making the best out of those that support us and forging a path that will be fruitful. And that has been difficult, which you may have noticed in tonight's sort of tone to all this. But 21st Century Wire has some really innovative ideas about how to bring what we've tried to do annually since 2018 into a more modernized perspective. I don't want to give anything away on their part, but it's really exciting. And I would like to have a chill hangout with you guys and hopefully have it be something that, we can social media or even live stream parts of, whatever. But that's what's going on this year. So I've talked about our annual meetup a number of times on the show, and just want to let you guys and everybody else out there know that we're not going to do it this year in the traditional way, but that next year it's going to be in a way that we hope will really bolster the independent media, and we want to elevate our game, and 21st Century Wire deserves all the credit for this. We're doing our part here at Alternate Current Radio too, but we work in tandem. And I have a feeling the next time we do one of these big meetups, it's going to be even bigger than any of the other ones we've done before. And in the meantime, I hope to hang out with you guys because there's a lot of important personal stuff going on with all of us in the meantime. So I'm going to go around the room. We never even made it to Icebreaker, but we're 2 hours and 13 minutes into the show. So I have it available if any of you want to hang out for it. But I know
demand it after that heavy shit right there. 2 hours
All
worth.
right.
I
Okay.
demand the Icebreaker at this point. Speaking
All
of
right.
doing things untraditionally, we should do this.
We'll crack it at the end of the show pretty much, and not even get to half of the notes that I made tonight. Ruckus, you and I worked on this document. We may have to do another Boiler Room before Thursday, judging on all the shit that's in our notes that we didn't get to tonight. Tonight has been a very free-formed Boiler Room. I feel like we lost someone in there. Was it Randy? Did I let Randy? Anyways.
Well, I suggest, I don't know what you guys think, but I suggest that we do the Icebreaker, and then I have what everybody forgot about, including it's not even in the notes, the biggest news story of this week that I think we need to discuss.
All right,
if you trust me.
Let's do it that way, but let me hand it to Pharaoh first, because I know he's got to get up early, and it's already like an hour later at his house than my house. So Pharaoh, over to you. I don't know if you got to see my notes for tonight, but I made it available. There were a lot of things to choose from in there. I already picked your brain about one of the ones I was really curious about, but let me hand it to you, ask you how much longer you have to be with us. Thank you for being here tonight, and over to you.
Oh no, thanks for having me, man. And I'm looking forward to see you. You know, I wanted to do that for a while, so we're gonna make that happen.
I love it when
Uh,
you and Randy J are in the same room together. I just got to say, there was like a long period of time where, each of you guys was sort of unavailable, and it's just been great to have you guys back together. It's last week we were told we had a bit of a dream team, or week before last, I can't remember. So it's just been really fun lately. But yeah, over to you, man.
uh, I'm actually interested to hear what Ruckus has to say because he picked my curiosity now.
Okay, great. Okay, if you're not like dying to get out of here, we got an icebreaker and a couple headlines for you. What about you, Based?
I'm staying. I want to hear what Ruckus has to say.
All right. Okay, I get the vibe here. Ruckus, I'm gonna hand it to you then, my friend.
Oh no, let's do the icebreaker because
All right.
because afterwards I can do the fucking thing that I forgot, the thing where you connect the two stories together, the
Yeah.
I used to
Right.
do it all the time on the Daily Ruckus, but that's how long it's
Segway?
been since I did. Thank you. The
George W. Bush segue.
Thank you very much. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually have a number of those. So you guys don't feel shy if you got to get out of here, but like this could cascade into a number of oddities here in the boiler room. So all right. Ruckus submitted this one. And by the way, I gotta say, there are some weeks, like we have a Discord. So if you're a gamer, you probably know what I'm talking about. But Discord is useful for a lot of things. It's even useful for, information and analysis dissidents and social rejects like us. So we employ Ruckus to make sure that thing is just like, and I got to give a shout out to Ruckus here because in my previous career, my main function, along with my symbiotic partner and a couple of other people, was to own, operate, and maintain a knowledge management system for the federal government. All right. Don't come at me like Fuentes comes at Tucker. It's very pedestrian. But, anyways, I have a healthy respect and understanding for a library of knowledge, a curated knowledge management system, a KMS. And when Ruckus came out of retirement in 2020, I told him, dude, I want a knowledge management system inside of a slightly self-owned social media system. And I have this Discord and I don't know how to fully realize it. And he turned this thing into a monster, an absolute fucking nuclear bomb of a knowledge management system. We've got everything in there. Your notification channel. You could come in as a new user in our Discord, mute everything except for the notification channel, and only know when we're going live on various platforms, our own or other people's. Or when you can also unmute the channel for Boiler Room or Sunday Wire or Daily Ruckus or Odd Man Out podcast or Mystical American Patriot Society podcast or the Baselit Analyzer podcast / YouTube channel, which is coming soon. You can look at our entertainment channel. You can look at our music channels. You can drop icebreaker suggestions. We got crazy ones this week. Some weeks are not great. Some weeks are insane. We've got Colorado man mauled after attempting to join a wolf pack in his furry suit. We've got, what do you think about the NFL's new cheerleaders with dudes acting like they're chicks? We've got new sex for rent agreements become popular in Canada. We've got tonight's idea, which Ruckus brought, the maskers. We've got all kind of shit. It's crazy. I had a hard time choosing tonight between icebreakers, but all that stuff is going on. We've got a channel for memes. We've got a channel for dark humor. We've got all that shit in our Discord at our website. Invite available to the unwashed social reject public. That's right. On our website, alternatecurrentradio.com. Ruckus, what was I supposed to do next? I got too involved in that.
I want to know about the maskers.
Oh yeah.
Because speaking of the Discord, somebody just recently rejoined the Discord who's been away for a while. So shout out to Derp. And when I saw the maskers, I immediately thought of him because he always says "fuck a mask."
That's right.
I wonder if he's going to feel the same after watching this.
All right, maskers. Okay, so this comes from TikTok via X at Hazel Appleyard. It's submitted by Ruckus. Like I said, the stuff of nightmares, as noted on the video here. And I added, what was our motto during 2020? It was fuck a mask. All right. Derp Scan knows what I'm talking about. He'll hear this on the replay tomorrow, or perhaps he's out there right now. But a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Awake Jake knows what I'm talking about. Cavi knows what I'm talking about. Our other motto was fuck a swab and fuck a test, but we won't go too far into that. I think the other one was fuck a government mandated experimental jibby jab, but we won't go into that either. It goes back to my initial questions tonight. So it's all besides the point for tonight's icebreaker clip, but we may circle back to fuck a mask. You tell us in the chat. So let me play this for you guys. This is just like, Ruckus, what are you doing to me here?
When I dress up and I put this mask on and the wig and, look very nice, it's like a beautiful woman walking down the street.
I just can't believe that that's a 70-year-old man in the mirror. And that's why I do this. If I saw a 70-year-old man in the mirror, I'd quit this tomorrow.
After years in solitude, Robert has decided to appear in public as Sherry at a gathering of fellow maskers in Minneapolis.
I don't have any friends that mask where I live, so I just came to see what kind of people do mask and wear rubber and are rubber dolls. And what kind of people are they? I don't know yet. All right. That might work with a wig. Okay, all right. Jeez, I don't know. No, I'm gonna go with that. But then with the gloves, damn it. When I do it, I want to look really good.
Bro.
Dude.
I thought that was Macron's wife too. Yeah.
So
did it have camel toe? Was that a fake camel toe going
on?
on?
It was built in.
That is Waterworld. That's Buffalo. That's long legs. Let me in, not today, but yesterday. That's long. That's Nick Cage's long legs right there. That's literally it. That's the movie.
Oh my god, dude!
It's like serial killer shit.
Yeah, that's really evil shit.
You know what's really funny?
Damn.
I don't know. Maybe this isn't funny. Let me try to. Here we go, everybody. Let me try to maintain YouTube in particular, your terms and conditions. Here we go. Let's see if I can do this. That was fucked up.
Yeah, it is. That was like
very fucked up.
That was wild.
It gets better. I did a brief little quick dive into this, and I was like, I didn't want to go much further than this, but I learned that this has been around for a while, making headlines even since 2014. So I was like,
Right?
how the F have we missed this until just now? And this has not been an icebreaker until just this moment.
And
This
what do they
is
call it? The rubbers or skinners? What
maskers.
maskers?
Masking,
Yeah.
and then he referred to rubber dolls. I guess maybe
Rubbers.
that might be the nickname for these people who do that as well. I'm guessing.
Well, it was like this guy. I mean, this is a short piece of media, and of course we should, consider it dubious, but at the same time, like, it makes total sense. And this guy is basically saying he's a 70-something white dude with a kink, and he doesn't like to see a 70-year-old white dude in the mirror. So he wears a rubber mask and it ends at the neck, and he has to come up with like some Amazon bought like sparkly, choker necklace to like cover the seal of his neck, and he puts this fucking thing over his face. And it's like Timu level. It's not like fake Hillary Clinton or fake Joe Biden or dying Donald Trump level CIA rubber mask. It's like Timu level mask, but there's also a bodysuit that goes with it. He can go hang out at the pool, and he's been doing this by himself for all these years. But then he found that there's a conference where people do this together, and some lame media organization is following him around and going, "Oh, this is just like, yeah, exactly. D. Jason Unchained got it. This is like Buffalo Bill adjacent, right? Like, this is put the lotion in the basket, like right next.
Or is that a
door
great
to
big
that.
fat person?
Right, like catty corner.
That's the last thing you see at the most dangerous game with the Devil's Reign and the Cramps playing in the background.
I don't know yet.
Oh my God, dude.
I haven't been to the conference yet.
Yo.
No, but
I think this is at a crossroads of the trans stuff, the
It's at the
cross-dressing
crossroads.
stuff, and latex fetish is what I'm guessing.
Yeah,
it's like a combination of all of these things.
Right.
Also, they also look like the sex doll things too, which is very strange, or sort of, but not really. But you see what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's like,
I will say that I am writing a novel called Monarch about a killer who wears a mask of his own face with mirror shards for eyes. So there's something similar. That's what he's doing. That's literally what he's doing.
I'm so sorry. So let me throw one
to Project Monarch.
Yeah.
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 One
He
more piece of
survives the most
information
dangerous game. Yeah.
Is that when I was doing some quick research, okay, here's the other shocking thing, is like I was getting a lot, and I mean a lot of results, having trouble finding news about it, but this is a whole cottage industry. So it's like, here's where this shit is for sale. Here, buy this here, buy, like there was all of that. And I was like, holy fuck, who there's that many people that do this? You got to be kidding me. And why is this convention happening in Minneapolis? What's going on out there, right?
Right. Yeah, everything happens in Minneapolis.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's okay? Please, YouTube, human reviewer, AI, whatever. Like, I feel like we've been pretty balanced tonight, so please forgive me for what I'm about to say.
Goodbye, horses.
So, if you're gonna send us a strike, that's fine, because you know what? I received from you, YouTube, over 2 years ago, probably more like 3 years ago, approval to join your ad campaign, whatever, I forget what you call it, your approved Google users who can get little shekels from advertisements and stuff like that. I've never turned that on. As soon as I got the email that said I was eligible for it back in 2022 or 3, I got a strike on my channel. And I felt like that was, a pretty good message. Message received. Thank you, Google. Like, it would be much nicer if we had an email exchange like I described earlier in the show, but I got your message. I'm eligible for monetization, and I got a strike in the same week. Cool. Thanks. How
They
is
did the same thing to Sam Cheney, bro.
dude, like how is it Nick Fuentes and Kanye West and Alex Jones and David Duke are allowed to just, propagate X the way that they do? And I finally get the email that says, "Hey, alternate current radio, would you like to be part of our paid advertiser? Would you like to be a YouTube creator? Would you like to monetize your channel? Push the button." Right? That easy. And I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm like, well, golly, I'm telling Sport's probably the only person that heard this, maybe Ruckus. And I'm like, well, golly, guys, I've seen a lot of our friends do pretty good on YouTube between 2014 and 2017. And I've seen a couple of our friends even do good on YouTube after they've been, slandered and canceled for being alt-right adjacent in 2015. If they got the lingo right and all that stuff. So,
but this is an innocent reaction video, like we were just watching about the other subject. But as far as we know, this is costumery preparing for Halloween in a community.
Right?
We didn't know about this.
This is why I vetted it before I brought it in.
Exactly. It's perfect. I fucking love it.
This is the physical LARPing version of that Demi Moore movie, The Substance. That's what this is.
It's The Substance. It's her.
It's Anthony Perkins' Psycho.
It's Psycho. It's Silence of the Lambs. It's occult analysis by Jay Dyer. It's Boiler Room. It's so perfect. Like, we're the show that has covered furries, cloppers. Like, Spore has curated all this stuff. A lot of it comes from
It's a human Labubu.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all this crap that has been viral before viral was a thing. We were there on top of it. And Ruckus has unburied one here that has been lurking for the whole time while we've been talking about people that dress up like ponies and bone each other, and kids that identify as cats and have the parent teacher school board open up like litter boxes for fourth and fifth and sixth grades or whatever. All this crap that people used to laugh at us for and say oh, you guys are crazy, or oh, you guys are falling for clickbait. Like, all these things have come and gone and are now sunsetted by crazy shit like this. And here's the thing I was apologizing for about to say about 10 minutes ago. You listen to this guy talk, and I hate to admit this, but I watched a show with Spore called Love on the Spectrum on Netflix, and it's about people with various mental handicaps, adult people with various mental handicaps.
I thought he just sounded like an accountant or something.
No. Listen back to it. And if you haven't seen Love on the Spectrum, it's a dating show for people with various diagnoses about autism and different syndromes and stuff like that. The Spectrum, get it? Love on the Spectrum. It's a tough show to watch. If you're new to it, you may feel like, oh my gosh, they're exploiting these poor young people that have been, potentially, I'm being very careful for you terms and conditions people here, potentially affected by corporate pharmaceutical products that led you to where you are right now in your adulthood, but you need a relationship anyways. And we're going to make a
that we totally believe
it.
that you should be allowed to take, and nobody's trying to take away your right from doing so, but we don't personally recommend it for ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyways, if you can dig into that show and like catch the cadence and the vibe of some of the men in particular that are on that show, they feel very similar to what this 70-year-old is projecting here on his masker latex
Ed Gein
wearing-
Research Project.
Yeah, Ed, thank you. Thank you for digging me out of my technical hole.
He
Put the
calls her
lotion in the
Sherry.
fucking basket.
Or is that a great big fat person?
It gets the hose again if it does not put the lotion in.
I need help. I can't get this sofa in the van.
All right.
Better not hurt
Mystical,
my dog, lady.
yeah, Mystical Pharaoh. What do you think, dude? Maskers.
Cuddles. What's the dog's
is
name? Cuddles.
this is a whole new
Cuddles.
twist on maskers, isn't it?
Yeah, man. This is, I don't know. I'm really pretty disturbed from that thing. I'm like there is no way this is just it's just so mentally disturbing that there must be some like really dark shit that other than what we just saw. That's the issue.
Yeah, dude. This is beyond, man. Like
And
I'm sorry. There's a meetup and a fucking festival for every weird thing you could possibly think of. And we talked about furries back in the day. We talked about cloppers, which are like people that dress up like My Little Ponies, and they do weird things with the drop pants on their costumes and whatnot. And it's just like, it just doesn't stop, man. Like, we were criticized for talking about that stuff as becoming part of culture a decade ago, and now it's clearly a part of culture, and I assume we'll still be ostracized for pointing it out.
Well, that was on a little thing called TikTok. Nobody watches that at all. No one uses it.
No, nobody watches the TikToks, especially considering it is equally posted on X, right?
What's up with that? It's so many things on X that are just reposts from TikTok.
So much of it. Like, what do you think it is? Like 35, 36, 40, 45, 55,
33.
33. Don't stop that. Don't get messianic on us. All right. Well, I icebreakered you guys. I got 10 billion other things in the notes here we could talk about. Like, okay, let me give you one. Infidel, I'm surprised you're still here. I thought you'd go to bed by now. Go to bed, dude. But before you do,
I am gonna go to bed after this one. I wanted to hear Ruckus, but we can hear this one and then Ruckus, and then I'll go to bed.
Me too. I'm gonna bounce after this.
I want to hear Ruckus too. But aren't we all interested in 9/11?
Mm-hmm.
Are people still talking about 9/11?
Mariah Carey brought it up at that concert recently. Did you see that?
No, what'd she say?
Yeah, she was doing the concert and she said, "And don't we all remember this?" And then she dropped the term. And then you hear this audible, "What the fuck?" Like out of like 100 people.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? What? Did she have a clip or anything to go with it?
No, it was just a song. It was a song. Went into like her Old Dirty Bastard song or something. I don't know. Had nothing to do with it.
All right. Well, okay.
Dream Lover. I don't know.
Today is September 4th, so we are not far away from the anniversary of 9/11 coming up this month. And Ruckus, Pharaoh, myself, even Bazed at this point has been here in the boiler room long enough to know that George W. Bush loves hot sauce and chicken tendies. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I just got memed. Ruckus just memed me. To know that something was up with the Big Nine. And we're curious yet again, proscriptors of constitutional government and providers of terms and services, what we're allowed to say, which feels really weird to ask because we live in here it is. We the people constitutional republic, right? I don't mean to laugh at the concept of a constitutional republic, but It is kind of funny now at this point. Anyways, Ruckus, correct me if I'm wrong, but this topic, the narrative of 9/11 is one of the things that you and I and Spore and many other people and some of our friends in the chats variously here in the Discord, the Rumble, the X, and the YouTube met over. This is one of the things that like kind of, there's that moment, like maybe if you've never commented on a show before, there's a moment where it's like, oh shit, I'm going to drop my first comment on this. I've been listening to this for these weeks or these months or these years, and holy shit, Ruckus just said something. The digital creator just said something that makes me want to spit a comment out. And honestly, that's why you have Ruckus and Spore and myself and Mystical Pharaoh and probably Basil Analyzer too. We were those people. But for Ruckus, myself, Spore, and about, what do you think, Ruckus? 36 of our friends in 2010, 11, 12, 13, and 14 that brought us together in a chat online.
I've explained this origin story, as it were, on other appearances on other podcasts. If you go to the website, alternatecurrentradio.com, and check out Roundabout Ruckus, some of the older episodes, you might discover that origin story for yourselves, if you dare. Don't sue me, anybody.
That's right. So we've spent a little bit of time in the last decade or more. Who dat? Look at that. Who?
There's Bubba hiding behind the twin pillars right there.
Jethro. I saw that, Jethro.
You saw that?
How dare you, buddy? So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm so verbose tonight. It's my own fault. But I be that verbose about that thing because Ruckus, myself, Jay Dyer, Jamie Hanshaw, Basil Analyzer, Mystical Pharaoh, another guy from ages of yore called Infidel Pharaoh, Randy J, and a fistful of other people spent a lot of time talking about 9/11. And we're coming up on the umpteenth 20th version of 9/11, and I just can't help but notice I'm trying not to use the word hubris. How about confidence? The confidence of Tucker Carlson talking about his particular analysis of 9/11 after where are we at now? Someone do the arithmetic for me. It's 2025. This happened in 2021. We recently had the 15-year anniversary. Ruckus and myself spent a lot of time with Dr. Judy Wood, who wrote Where Did the Towers Go?
2001.
All right, 2001. There you go. 2025. All that stuff. Do your math. And now, finally,
24
Tucker.
years.
24 years. Like we're almost at the 25-year mark. And Tucker is going to come out and say he's got it. He's got it. If you sign up for his network, you will get it too. I'm just going to share this with you. You guys give me your opinion. Here we go.
The official story on 9/11 is a complete lie. The 9/11 report is a joke.
You have the CIA following two men all over the planet and then eventually even to America, right? And you don't tell the FBI. 9/11 Commission is covered.
So what did happen? What did the government know? What did foreign governments know? There was a cover-up. Why? It's been nearly 25 years. It is time Americans learned what actually happened. We're going to tell you. We're releasing one episode per week. You're not going to want to wait. If you're a member, you don't have to. You get all 5 episodes the day it drops, right then.
All right, I'm going to stop right there because I'm not into advertising for TCN, but that comes via TCN, and Tucker's making some claims there, like he's got something to add to the 9/11 conversation that wasn't there before. And my question to Tucker Carlson, to TCN, is where the fuck were you in 2001? Where were you in 2005? Where were you in 2007? I will admit to not starting to get hip until 2007, and then advancing that knowledge from 2007 to whenever I met Ruckus and my friends where I met them.
Oh, I see what you meant. I'm sorry. That's 20. Yeah, 2011. There you go.
There you
Ish.
go. Right.
Late 2010, I believe, officially.
Yeah. Yeah. Between May 2010 and 2011 were when things started to pull normal people like Ruckus and Spore and myself and some of our friends into some shady and questionable podcasts because we were curious about these things. And that goes back to
2012 had a whole new big nine. Remember?
Yeah.
They completely took that over on 9/11.
We
Right?
we remember.
Yeah, 100%. And at this point, 24 years later, as we approach the anniversary of that event, this is great to be able to talk about this on YouTube, by the way. YouTube, direct enjoyer on the staff there. I hope you're still with us and understand that we're just people with questions. But it's interesting to be here 24 years later and witness something like this. I mean, that has 694.5 thousand views on it. And the
You should just watch
videos,
Loose Change.
yeah, exactly. The videos that those of us back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, and 14 used to watch about this topic were from people like Jason Burmis, people like Alex Jones before he got into identity politics and right-wing politics. People like Dr. Judy Wood, who wrote Where Did the Towers Go? You know, with all of that information, you had the key to a Rubik's Cube of corruption and war and weather manipulation and high technology and long-term geopolitical planning, right? Like there's all that intrigue in there, and a lot of it very forensic and some of it very cerebral. And a lot of that is gone from the internet now. ChatGPT doesn't know about it. Grok doesn't know about it. The Wayback Machine doesn't know about it. The only way you know about a lot of that stuff, to include some of the things that we aired earlier about new people discovering William Cooper, is just fucking gone, or very difficult to find on the internet now. Surface level, short TikTok attention span level stuff like we showed earlier. Whereas Ruckus and I and many, many other people have listened to Bill Cooper's long form radio productions, live radio productions that inspired us and many other people. So I find it interesting that Tucker Carlson says he's going to uncover the 20-year cover up of what really happened on 9/11. I want to know what new information he has. What do you think it's going to be, you guys? Is it going to be Richard Gage coming in and giving his usual spiel? I mean, that's kind of where I think that might be. This is like a teaser for a Richard Gage interview. And if you know Ruckus and I on the long-term form, we've dealt with him before. We've interviewed him in friendly and hostile environments. And
I was thinking it could be even, I was going to say worse, but that would be mean. It could be even better. We could get the other guy.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. There's a number of ways that could go, right? It could be the Wolfpack guy. It could be Dr. Judy. It could be, the aforementioned Mr. Gage, all of whom we've talked to and tried to get an honest conversation going with, and all of whom I think have given that to us and added a lot of context to this. But I don't know, how rare are we, people looking for deep context on this? But anyways, this is going to happen on TCN. Tucker's going to make a mint out of it. If you want to see all the episodes before they're available to the public, you can subscribe to it. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, dude, let's see what you got. No, I ain't subscribing. All right. Pharaoh, I know you got to get out of here. Any thoughts, comments, save rounds, final thoughts?
I'm still waiting for Ruckus story. He hyped me up.
Wake Pharaoh up.
All right. We were talking about the maskers, right? So, in case you missed the news, this was actually pretty big news. Everybody was talking about this. I mean, everybody was talking about this. Well, a lot of people were talking about this, but there were some very suspicious images of the president floating around online, leading people to wonder whether or not that was really the president. What's going on? Is he okay? Is he dead? For instance, I don't know if you saw, but they were saying like, oh wait, sorry, that was a post that I made making fun of these people. Actually, this is one of the actual pictures that was floating around. You may have seen this by now, where it was like just kind of doesn't look like Trump, but it's because it was a photo taken from a very far distance, and then AI. Because AI is just as smart, if not smarter, than our smartphones and our smart homes and our smart fridges and us stupid humans. It does shit like this. So to try to correct it. And if you recall, last week we were talking about how, let me get that up the screen, people were you finding out that their YouTube videos and their music and all that stuff were automatically and being changed and upgraded without their permission or being asked to do so by AI. And so,
We're getting demonetized by the AI, right?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. So it's all very strange to me, but no lie, I really wanted to know what you guys thought about this. People were going effing insane, crazy about this whole Trump thing, and then there was a more recent one where, like, maybe you guys saw. I don't have the video, but maybe you saw it where it's somebody throwing a bag of garbage out the window from the Lincoln bedroom, and then the reporters are actually confronting the president about it, and he says it's probably AI deepfake video, and they showed him the video, and he goes, "It's like, no way, that's impossible. The windows are sealed shut. They can't open those windows." So I'm like, so people are making deepfake AI videos of like what the hell's going on? So like, I don't know. Is Trump alive? Is he dead? Is it a guy in a rubber mask? Where have we heard all of this before, guys? It's almost like you could just replace the fact that they're talking about it being Trump, except they were doing this with Biden, correct? Talk about the pendulum shift swinging to the other way, yeah?
Wouldn't that be hilarious if like the sort of cheeky, icebreaker-y story was like that close to reality, like that close to a Truman Show, or what was Zelensky's comedy show called before it turned into reality, like Mr. President or some shit like that?
Yeah, the movie Dave from 1995. Remember that one?
Yeah, 100%. Let me show this video because I'm gonna give Tucker the benefit of the doubt here and let him speak for himself, since I sort of criticized him. But I mean, I do take it somewhat personally that this guy, like many other mainstream journalists over the last decade or so, have, to include Julian Assange himself, who we support in many ways, but 9/11 has always been one of those third rail things. So and we've commented on this show a lot of times about the Overton window, the acceptable speech window, places where we ourselves have been personally affected by that Overton window by being in front of it instead of in the middle or behind it. But here's what Tucker has to say about 9/11.
The official story on 9/11 is a complete lie. The 9/11 report is a joke.
You have the CIA following two men all over the planet and then eventually even to America, right?
Let me stop it right there at what's the timestamp on this? I could not even get more than 20 seconds into this without stopping it. You hear the music, you hear the double bass, the chong 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 sound. And it's like, oh, I'm in. I'm hooked. None of that is original. None of that is new. We'll let it go from there. But it's immediately like, if you see the player down there, everybody watching live, if you're listening, it's, maybe 1/3 of the way through 1 minute of a clip. I'm already annoyed at the inference that nobody has said this before, regardless of what 9/11 truther camp they were in.
And you don't tell the FBI. 9/11 Commission cover up.
So what did happen? What did the government know? What did foreign governments know? There was a cover-up. Why? It's been nearly 25 years. It is time Americans learned what actually happened. We're going to tell you. We're releasing 1 episode per week. You're not going to want to wait. If you're a member, you don't have to. You get all 5 episodes the day it drops, right then, ad-free. Our first episode airs Thursday, 9/11, September 11th. You will not want to miss it. Join us now at tuckercarlson.com.
Again, not paid to sponsor that, just a casual observer. Wow, holy crap. That's one of the things that we've been slandered for, socially rejected for, experienced even personal ramifications IRL for being interested in and participating in over the last 10 years. Not a boon to one's financial viability, media viability, social viability, anything like that. Actually puts one in a category sort of like Bill Cooper. But Tucker Carlson, here he comes along. We're now in a world where Tucker Carlson comes along and says, I'll tell you what happened in the 9/11 files. Subscribe to the website. You'll get access before everybody else. We got 5 episodes coming up. What's he going to use as his source material? Is it going to be Jason Burmis's stuff? Is it going to be Alex Jones's stuff? Is it going to be Dr. Judy Wood's stuff? Is it going to be Richard Gage's stuff? Is there someone I forgot? Is there someone I fucking forgot, Ruckus? I mean, those are basically the foundation of the forgive me. I'm with
Webster
you.
Tarpley.
Webster Tarpley, right?
Is he still alive?
Not sure.
Unknown. I can't tell you. We've lost a couple of those old schoolers. There's a couple others too, right? There's a whole small matrix of schools of thought on what happened that day. And there's a few that like kind of Venn diagram some of those. And frankly, that's where I like to be. I don't like to be like, fuck your theory. This is the theory. But if I had someone put a gun to my head and I had to be that way, I would kind of side with Dr. Judy Wood, probably myself personally. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. You may side with Richard Gage. You may side with Webster Tarpley. You may side with Jordan Peterson, who won't make a decisive decision about that. You may decide with Tucker Carlson, who has said in the past, this is a non-issue. But I'm here right now to point out to you that he now says it's not a non-issue. And Ruckus, myself, Bazed, Jay, Pharaoh, a number of our friends and people, numerous people I could mention out there on the internet have been canceled for it before, have been in, intellectual argumentation mode with, various clans of chat people over the years on this and in comments. And I just think it's fucking amazing that now former Fox Rupert Murdoch employee Tucker Carlson, who's in this crazy argument with Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes over like how racial we can actually sound in the media about the divisions going on right now.
It's
Are gonna
almost like all of this was planned, and this was the
Yeah.
spectacular ruination, the fall of Tucker Carlson. Oh, woe is me! I don't get to work for the big network Fox News anymore. And now look at where he's come, right? And the same thing with a lot of these people. They left these large networks. Candace Owen is another one, believe it or not.
Owen Schroyer most recently.
Well, of course, there was all that theatrical nonsense. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
I don't even want to touch it. We hit the 3-hour mark, Asher, and you actually literally repeated an entire segment and forgot you already played the video and gave that comments about Tucker.
Good
It's
God.
pissed you off so much.
I
deserved
know,
it
dude.
twice.
Oh, I know. All right. Well, let's roll around the room here. We'll circle back to some of this stuff later. Mystical Pharaoh, it is midnight here. That means it's 1:10 at your house. I'm just so glad you hung with us this amount of time. Saved rounds, final thoughts. Let's round this MFer out.
Yeah, I just would like to play that last clip if you don't mind, the one I just clicked on.
All right, where do
And the chat.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I got it, man. Let's see.
Oh, I'm
here.
sorry. This is not the right one. Hold on.
Oh, that was a Bill Gates one, but he's not wearing his lilac
Hold on. Not the
sweater
right one.
vest.
Not the right one.
Dude, infidel. Mystical. I gotta tell you, Ruckus has seen it. You may have seen it too, but in the notes for the show tonight, I have a whole segment, a whole section blocked off for pandemic industrial complex. And there's a couple of bangers in there. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Next show, I would like to get into some of that testimony for Bobby Kennedy today. Actually, it was really interesting to watch it.
All right. Well, we may maybe we can get together before next Thursday.
Yeah, but just play this last one. Sorry.
All right. I got it for you here. That one, right?
Yeah,
See
that
it?
one.
All right. Let's see what's going on here. We've got Trump, Melania. Is that Zuckerberg sitting to the right of Trump?
Yeah, that's right. He said he's going to invest $600 billion in America in the next few years. It's like everybody just talks out with a B. Everybody just talks out of their ass. Like,
why is it $600 billion for every company?
Yeah, what are you going to get those $600 billion from?
How many 600 billion companies does it take to make the 600 trillion?
I have no idea, but
is there that much money in circulation? Something doesn't add up here.
It's just retarded.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're working in smaller denominations. This is hard to comprehend. Okay, here we go.
Well, I just wanted to apologize for every single fucking version of Windows that sucked, which is basically all of them. Also, sorry for creating viruses just so I could profit from selling you the antivirus software. And on that note, sorry for spreading real viruses by profiting from vaccines and shit. Also, sorry for sterilizing so many of you. There's just too many of us, and some of you are not nice. That's why I'm trying to block out the sun. Anyway, I just came here to ask for a pardon from all the Epstein shit. Thank you.
Dude, you didn't tell me that was a satire.
It's much better than the original version, trust me. The original version is the one above, but that's much better.
I love that. The fact that I'm seeing those people laid out in that order is enough to make me grab my sick bag and just chuck everything I put in my gullet today into a bag.
That's good use of AI, people.
That is.
Exactly.
That is. I have, maybe Ruckus can attest to this, but I have one or more videos in tonight's show notes that I wrote. This probably is too spicy for YouTube on. And they were similar to that, but even worse because they were more in the geopolitical realms, if you get what I'm
Well,
talking
we are getting back into that whole, like, I mean, because this is how it was when we started, is like everything we talk about is off limits again. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
now sure the window's opened over here on this one particular topic, and it's being controlled and managed over here with this
That's
one
right.
particular topic, but the one huge giant elephant in the room is still vastly, for the most part, being completely fucking ignored. And it's really like probably the one that we should all be the most concerned about, which is the underlying theme to pretty much everything that the Boiler Room has been concerned about, in and out of, in between the propaganda, of course, but the technocracy. And sure enough, here we are. And in order to implement that, we need to destroy the Constitution, erode all those things, and just roll in with the new stuff, baby. Hooray.
Yeah, and if you look at those people sitting on this table, it's really like Sam Altman, like Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. It's just he got all the technocracy bros sitting there beside him. I guess the only one that was not invited was Musk, but
He gets invited to enough of these
I
things.
know. I don't believe in this feud. I think it's
Which
more.
real quick, I want to make a fast point about this, circling back to the Trump thing, which we kind of glossed over. I know it's all silly and everything, but what's silly to me, and I mentioned this, is that it seemed that more people wanted to latch onto this idea so badly that Trump was dead, more so than some of these people who are like the Q. They want to believe that he's JFK Jr. or whatever they believe, right? I don't give an F, right? But the thing is, like, from both sides. So you had all the Democrats and the mainstream left. Where's Trump? Is he okay? They were doing their thing, but the people were going nuts, like, oh yeah. But even the conspiracy theorist people, the people who were just recently fell off the MAGA train because of Trump, now it's almost like they hate the guy. It's almost like there's this passionate, like they really want him. They want that to be true, and I'm just like, but you know what that means, right? I hope you both of you, the picture that I made for Hesher tonight with the donkey and the elephant dancing together while the Constitution and the world burns behind them, with Trump and Steele and all of them playing the fiddle. There you go. See, like, you don't get it, do you? If something happens to Trump, who becomes president? Anyone? Can anyone tell me who becomes president?
They're playing, boss. They're playing. The little
Peter.
It's fat midget, right?
It's Peter Thiel by proxy, but yes, the little fat midget, the plain Vance guy, who and it's coming, because look at how strong and hard they've been doing the memeing thing. That guy gets memed and hated on more with that little fat face thing than they ever did to Trump with the orange man crap. Think about it.
Boss, would you like me to rub the lubrication, the baby oil on Satan's asshole for you?
You might need to put that into context for the viewers and listeners.
What I'm saying right now is that what I just pantomimed is on Comedy fucking Central as a mainstream media program on South Park. So shouts out to Matt and Trey from South Park. I don't understand how actually, let me pause for a moment here. Matt and Trey, I have worked with someone that you know very closely, someone you might even be friends with, someone who's friends with Charlie Kirk. I'm fucking serious right now. I'm not fucking around. I don't want to dox anybody here, but Matt and Trey, what you have done over the years and what you're doing right now with season 27, episodes 1, 2, and 3, I don't understand. How do you fucking do it? How do you be something that's in the mass media cartel and have all the perks and the peaks and valleys of that? You know what I mean? I know it's not all Gold Brick Road and all that shit. Like, I know you guys have been fucked with too. But I mean, you still have the gumption to fight for your favorite Mexican restaurant. You still have the gumption to create Cartman basically is an analog to people like us who have been around for decades and people longer than us, like, David Duke and Ron Avery and all these people asking legitimate questions about geopolitics, about culture. Like how do you get away with it? I don't understand. Like you're and I'm not trying to blow our own horn here or have my rib removed and suck my own ding dong, but like how are you able to do boiler room level stuff that's like 5 and 10 years ahead of the Overton window and keep getting fucking annual contracts, keep getting annual contracts to Hulu, keep getting annual contracts to Comedy Central, keep questioning Israel. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually using really light language tonight and really minimal analysis compared to what your Nick Fuenteses are doing and your Cartman is doing, a literal cartoon character. Like I'm stepping on my tongue just a little bit to be just this far below Cartman and this far below Nick Fuentes, who's going to say you're gay and retarded and some racial slur between a bunch of stuff that you actually agree with and causes you a lot of dissonance. I'm going to call it right there. Oh, but by the way, Larry Sinclair. Bays, do you remember Larry Sinclair?
Obama, Larry Sinclair had a fabulous love affair. Oh, Obama. Yeah, I remember.
This is actually like of the like dozens of things we have to talk about tonight. I have to make sure we get out before we leave tonight. Larry Sinclair, according to his X account, says that he has passed away. And if you don't know who Larry Sinclair is, Larry Sinclair came out years back claiming he had 2 sexual encounters with Barack Obama, which involved crack cocaine. He was later arrested on the orders of Attorney General Beau Biden, Hunter Biden's brother. Can you? Oh my
What do you
gosh.
do for-
Okay, so a lot of old stuff is coming up tonight. I want to make sure new people to all this see some of this old stuff because we often forget it or think it. I don't know. Old hat. But here you go. This is Dinesh D'Souza with Larry Sinclair.
For a living, Mr. Sinclair?
Currently, I run a nonprofit in Cocoa building affordable housing.
Now, in 2008, when Obama announced his candidacy for president, you made some explosive allegations about him that dated back to some events that occurred in 1999. Is that the year that you met Barack Obama?
It is.
Where did you meet him?
Outside of a bar in Chicago.
What were you doing?
I was on a night out. I had asked a limo driver if he knew anyone that would be interested in showing me around the town. And it was clear for the limo driver that I was looking for someone to enjoy the night with. The introduction was made through the limo driver.
And what happened?
We had a few drinks. I had made some comments about wanting Coke. So we got in the limo and left. And we started drinking. I started snorting. He started smoking. I actually put my hand on his knee and started to rub up his thigh. And I performed oral sex on Barack Obama. The following day, I actually get a knock on my hotel room door in Gurnee, Illinois, only to find Barack Obama standing in front of it. He had actually come back for seconds. I performed oral sex on him in the hotel room at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Gurnee, Illinois.
Were there drugs involved on the second night as well?
There was.
Who produced those?
He actually brought those with him.
Now, Obama at that time was a state senator.
I actually had no idea who he was.
And then when did you find out that it was Barack Obama?
All right, I'm going to stop right there because it becomes painful as you go further into it. But I don't know if it's confirmed yet or not, but we've heard that Larry Sinclair has passed away. We've also heard that, of course, Larry Nichols has passed away. We're losing a lot of people of these sort of like decade ago, 15 ago, 2 decades ago, sort of like whistleblower people. And that's really, I don't mean to bring it up because it's crass and because it's, salacious and GHEY and all that stuff. But I don't want to let that, if that guy truly did pass, I don't want to let him pass unrecognized, much the same way as we did with Larry Nichols and a number of other people. Some of these people we've even had on shows. We've had Larry Nichols on shows that I've produced.
Was he swimming too?
Dude, who was that other person that drowned recently in shallow water? I remember commenting on it, but I can't remember who it was.
I thought that was their chef or something like that.
It was another chef or someone adjacent to a chef. I don't know. I'll have to find it and bring it up next time or something. But yeah, that's becoming a theme.
But all right, man. I
Let's
think
get you out of here, Mystical
Yeah.
Pharaoh. Thanks for being here tonight. Over to you, man. Final thoughts.
Thanks for having me, man. It was fun. It was a good marathon, and yeah, let's maybe we can do a show and get a little bit into this other stuff if you want.
Yeah, that sounds good. Check out the link I sent you guys in the back chat and let me know if you're interested in anything to cover on there. Maybe we'll come back and do another one before next Thursday. If not, I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for being here, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man. Cheers, guys.
All right. Mystical Pharaoh punching out. Based, over to you, man. Save rounds, final thoughts, anything you want to throw in before we shut it down.
Good times. Good to be back. Good times. I get all the news from you guys because I was out of it for the past month doing other stuff, working on this book. Speaking of which, please go buy my book. Go on Amazon, buy my book. It's links are everywhere. Links are on my YouTube channel, Baselit Analyzer. I will be at Jay's event this weekend. If you're there, come see me. I'll probably be at the merch table and hanging out. Good to see you guys, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks for being here tonight, buddy. There goes Baselit Analyzer. By the way, those Jay Dyer, Jamie Hanshaw live events are legit. I just want to say, I may be a little bit biased because they're personal friends of ours, but we've gone to a number of those. And we always have a good time, and we always meet cool people in our local area. So, Based, enjoy that. Ruckus, over to you, my friend. Save rounds, final thoughts. So let's
3 hours and 15 minutes. I can't believe we made it through the entire show and we didn't even talk about fungus encrusted bats spreading deadly disease and how humans can disperse spores. Oh well, I guess we'll have to talk about that another day.
Right? I
At
mean,
least
there
we
was
brought it up.
crazy.
That's all you need to know. That's all. They just need the headline level and move on with your life. Be afraid. Wear a mask. Right?
Yeah.
How ridiculous. How silly. I don't think
Do we
anyone's gonna fall for that.
wear a mask like the maskers of the gathering in Wyoming, though?
I don't know, but that's quite the freaking headline. Fungus encrusted bats are spreading deadly disease and humans can disperse spores. Oh, geez.
Oh my
right?
God. I
Oh,
know.
no.
It's
I
crazy.
can't
And we had this whole we've got this whole area in the notes that's like ever present, and it's about the pandemic industrial complex. And there were a couple articles in there that were just like, what the actual fuck is going on
5
here?
years and that has not ended. I thought it was 2 weeks to slow the spread. I honestly, one of all of the channels that I created in the Discord chats, I was looking forward to letting that one die. Let it retire, let it go. No, we're still posting shit in that channel to this day. I call that one the apocalypse or something like that, right? It's a play on words. Well, anyways, you should join the Discord channel. It was brought up a number of times on the show. You can go to the little hamburger menu thingy at alternatecurrentradio.com and find the link to join the Discord channel. If you're lost when you get there, say something. Someone will help you out with that, including how to turn on and off all of the annoying whistles and bells that are going to be dinging at you when you're new there. And if you're Terrence, shout out to Terrence. We don't understand why you joined the Discord and then leave the Discord and then join the Discord. You're not supposed to do it that way. You don't have to do it that way. You can join the Discord, stay in. You can just leave the app. You can close it and you'll still be logged in. You don't have to keep going through all the crazy stuff. Flag us down the next time you're in there. Thanks for having me, Hesher. It's been a marathon one. It looks like you need to get off air as well. Thank you to the viewers and the chatters, everybody out there. I saw most of the chats going on, except for the Discord. Of course, I'll catch up later. Let's see. Yep, I think that's it for me. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God save this republic. That's a saying that I kind of borrowed from Bill Cooper, by the way. Ruckus out.
All right. Yeah, there he goes. Ruckus, I knew you would appreciate those, sort of new or newer than us podcasters kind of giving their take on Bill Cooper. It's a very interesting one. It's very interesting. Anyways, thanks for joining us tonight. We had so much more in tonight's show notes, but I always prefer to go free form over fully structured. I like to have a structured thing to go from, but if it leans toward free form, well, you saw how that works out tonight. I want to thank everybody at Rumble, everybody at YouTube, everybody at X, everybody here in the boiler room, everybody over in the Discord. Shout out to Badger. What's up, man? How you doing if you're listening live? Shout out to everybody in our live Discord. I'm 167 messages deficient on my Discord. So I know I'm going to read that while I'm doing the edit on the show and wish I had replied to a lot of things that were said. But thanks to Fleety and Crease and Sage and Brian S. And I have a whole list of people that have helped us reach a particular goal on our business end here with regards to our migration to Podbean away from Spreaker. I'm going to hold back on thanking everybody for that, but Brian, BMAC, Creative Accidents, Eileen, a few other people are intimately involved in that, and a couple that I forgot. So I'll give a full rundown on that as soon as I can get my shit together. All right, we're out of here, you guys. I hope everybody has a great weekend and joins us for Sunday Wire, which we'll probably do with Patrick Henningsen, Ruckus, and myself on Sunday. That'll be at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, and I believe 5 p.m. UK time. We'll see you then. And for now, thanks to Jason. We had a blast too. I don't know how long I've had that last comment up there, but so many comments I'd like to throw up there right now. Join us for Sunday Wire if you haven't yet. We do a lot of comment sharing over there. And hey, we'll see you later.
That's it. Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.